favorite co-host in the persons of Miss Miriam Abnadi and Mr. Clement Yabankwe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Yara.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing so well. I mean, after a long break, we are finally back. Oh, this is my first appearance.
Oh, you've appeared a few times. I mean, as they say, leave no be pension, so we are back.
Yeah, Yara. But I must say, you've really, transformed. You are giving us glow with a bit of, anointing and those kind of,
Yeah, back
good.
again with your preaching. Good. Thank you so much. I mean, this is what rest does for you. When you get some time off, when we prioritize rest, we tend to glow. So, Clem, what about you? How are you doing? Last Tuesday you were Sheikh. Today you are Professor.
Yes. So we are still in it. Yes.
Great. So, as we're about to have our conversation, you can send in your contributions and suggestions, all your takes on what we're about to discuss, the trending news, and we will read them out loud. But of course, please make sure to be decorous and tactful. Yes, so what's trending? What's happening in our world this week?
Okay, Mimi, I think Mimi will start. Because I would
new month, new life.
Yes. Oh, okay. I mean, it has always been the same thing. Been trending for some time now. I'm talking about the issue of e-levy and other taxes being scrapped off. I think I have that in my newspaper. But a counter opinion just popped up from MTN Ghana CEO Stephen Blewett. And he's saying that the abolition of the electronic transfer levy, also known as e-levy, cannot take immediate effect as it must go through some regulatory approval. And so he is speaking from the telco's point of view that the abolition cannot, take effect immediately. It has to go through some processes. But the president has also said he has scrapped off all these taxes.
So then we want to ask them, if new mobile taxes are being imposed on us, do they also go through these processes that make them not be able to take effect effectively or immediately?
They do, just that they are not immediate.
Are you sure? Because see, the e-levy was something really sensitive for Ghanaians, because the population came out to say no, we don't want this, and then the previous government still implemented it, baked the cake. It's to an extent, even some people were saying it was a mockery of our democracy, because as a democracy you listen to the people and they say they don't want this tax and you still go ahead to put it up there, and now someone is coming to scrap it. You're telling us. So in this situation, what do you think are some of the effects it's going to have on MTN, especially with their customers?
Well, he's also speaking from a business point of view. As a CEO of a very big telco, they would not really buy into such an idea, because they are going to run at a loss. And we can all testify to the fact that it really supported or brought a lot of revenue for these telcos as well as government. I don't like the way you're looking at me. I'm just speaking the mind of a business, person.
Okay.
Clemens, what do you think?
Clemens, help me, because this one there.
So, like rightly as Mimi said, generally before implementation of any other thing, it needs to go through process. And President signing to the bill doesn't mean that it's going to take effect immediately. It still needs to go through process. It's stages. So like the finance minister presented to parliament for approval, it gets to president for him to sign. Now it is the process for the various telecom, that's the network, being it Airtel, Tigo, Vodafone and whatsoever, to also take up the necessary steps to make sure that that kind of thing, that kind of charges in their system is being taken off. So I believe he is saying or telling Ghanaians that yes, president has signed, but it's not going to take effect immediately. Like yesterday, someone thought since the president has signed, he can do transaction, and the person did transaction and it was deducted e-levy. So viewers should understand that yes, president has signed, but it will still go through one or two process before we all would start enjoying the scrapping off of the e-levy.
Okay, but I have a question for Mimi. You mentioned that taking off these taxes may cause the company to run at a loss. But my question is, weren't they running before the e-levy came?
So let me just touch to help Mimi on this issue. So Mimi spoke on the, as he said, business point of view. And in business, anything that you do, you gain profits. And that is not, I would say, my point, that is not the main reason why MTNs, they are saying that. They are talking about a technicality involved. You can't just stand up and be like, since the president has signed, then I'm also going to implement it. No, it can't work like that. So business point of view, yes, they know they are going to run at a loss because huge sums of money is going to leave their let's say their coffers. But that is not the main reason why they just brought out this comment.
Okay, so in a situation where Ghanaians like to be lawless, like even right now our transport fares, they gave I think it was a 10 or 15% increment just some months back. But sometimes you pick a car today, they take a different fare. You pick a car today, you take a different fare. They are not properly regulated. So what happens in a situation where maybe some of these telecommunications networks take advantage of that and say, oh, we are still doing it, and then it continues for about 6 months, they're still deducting e-levy. So what happens in such a situation?
The whole issue is, yesterday I was searching for the deadline, but I didn't really get the deadline. So there is a deadline for all the telecommunications to be able to meet.
Okay.
So let's say, assuming it's a week time or 2 weeks, that system will be taken off, or that kind of thing will be taken off from their system. So it won't be like MTN will decide that, oh, I will do mine in the next 2 months, and let's say Airtel to go will decide I will do mine. No, you are operating in Ghana and you abide by the rules and regulations of the country. So the finance minister will bring out the necessary deadline for all these people to obey.
Okay, so one last question on the hearts of many Ghanaians. If a new tax, telco tax, is imposed, will it take this long to also take effect?
It will, because when you look at that of the e-levy, it went through process before eventually we experience it.
So if MTN continues deducting e-levy, please come for Mimi and Clemens. They are defending.
We are not defending them. That is
we are not. We are just telling you what is on the ground.
Right.
But Ira, let me break the ice with a little bit of entertainment. When I come, it's all about fun.
Yes, lifestyle mom.
So our very own Black Sherif has released his album today, which is Iron Boy, and is making waves on the internet, and a lot of people are congratulating him for the investment he made in his craft. Black Hole is top notch. He comes up, he shows up. He's everything that music is, and this album in particular is really, really a very nice one, and I think a lot of people should.
Maybe on the lifestyle segment, maybe you take us through the songs or let's talk stuff.
Let's talk stuff. Today it's all about road signs.
Okay, so I think I also saw something about one of our sister TV stations speaking on the attire this musician, what's her name? Yes, Sina Soul was wearing, and it seemed as though they were not speaking, like I said, the chorus and tactfully about how she was dressed in her music video, and it got a lot of backlash that people, it seems as though now people are not being properly screened before they are given certain platforms, and I think it got a lot of, I think, should I mention the name? Okay, the TV station got a lot of negative publicity, and I mean, here on Cloud TV, we don't do that.
People not getting the censorship to come in on set. I think the pundits or Sinaso.
The pundits, where they were sharing their opinions and it did not
really sit.
They ethically that was not what
And I think Sinaso also responded to that, and in a very polite way. She said she was just trying to promote her music. I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about Sinaso, and then we are talking about her music, but Ghanaians are more focused on negativity than positivity, because she's a musician and music is a craft. People have various ways, strategies of promoting their music. Black Sherif has, built a craft for himself. We know he likes to wear baggy trousers. I know Andy's favorite artist, but he wears baggy trousers, short crop top, a crop top that is supposed to be worn by ladies. He does that. It is part of his craft. So I don't know why people are coming for Sina. She's a sexy girl. Like, I mean, she's beautiful. So she doesn't have the, but
yes. And even the fact that they were speaking in they were speaking as though she's their daughter, and then, you know, it's like some disciplinary committee at home, and you're on TV.
So, Lyra, I think Let's Talk staff will handle this issue.
Okay,
yes, they'll do that.
So, do you have any other trending news, or we should go straight into your graphic?
I have this trending news, and it happened yesterday. Trump has actually imposed 10% tariff on Ghana. That is all our exports to America. And it's not only Ghana, it's also affected Togo. Togo also had 10% imposed on them. Uganda also had 10%. Cameroon also had 11%. And the meaning of this tariff is a tax. And it amounts of a tax you are supposed to pay as an exporter. If you are sending things to America to go sell, that is a tax the government is taking. It's not something new, because in Ghana, we have also imposed a tariff tax of 17% to that of American imported items in the country. So I think President Trump is just what we call the trade balance. That is what he's trying to do. But analysts are saying that this is going to make Ghanaians goods exported to America very expensive. Yes, it will be, because no businessman would like to incur that cost on him or herself, but they automatically add it to the price. So that is what is happening in terms of business.
It goes back to you know, I saw a lot of comments where people were like, what have we done to Trump? It's like Trump doesn't like blacks, like, you know, that perception, a shithole, those kind of things. But I mean, I think, as Clement just said, it's from a business point of view. He's looking at how to make his company better, and I think that is what our leaders should also be doing. You know?
So it should also rather even push us to put more value on our products for export, so that when we place this price on it based on the tariff, it is worth it. Because if we are exporting cocoa and this cocoa is laced with mercury and lead and whatnot, we can't place the actual prices we need to place on it, because they'll say no, your goods are not up to standard. So Ghanaians, this is also an admonishment to us. So we have a comment here. This is from Baby Jesus. I think she says, good morning, Black Sheriff is so good. Thank you for your comments. Now, before we go into your newspapers, we have a communique issued by GRA, and this one says, notice to all charging entities. So I think this is probably about, yes, it's about e-levy. Notice to all charging entities, guidelines on the abolition of the electronic transfer levy, which is the e-levy. It says here, we wish to inform you that the President of the Republic of Ghana has assented to the Electronic Transfer Levy Act 2022 Act 1075 and the Electronic Transfer Levy Amendment Act 2022 Act 1089 Bill, which abolishes the 1% e-levy. This is expected to take effect from today, 2nd April 2025. So this was issued yesterday. And in accordance with our previous communication regarding implementation guidelines, this letter serves as a formal authorization for you to proceed with the deployment of the no-charge configuration on all your platforms. We wish to communicate the following guidelines. 1. The GRA Electronic Transfer Levy Management and Assurance System will automatically return to a no charge on all transactions posted to it by entities from midnight. Charging entities, that's 2. Charging entities must cease applying the 1% e-levy from midnight on all their channels. 3. Charging entities must immediately process refunds for any e-levy amounts deducted from customers effective today, 2nd April 2025. Entities are to establish an expedited refund process to handle such cases promptly and maintain proper documentation of all refunds processed. Reports of such refunds must be submitted to GRA. And the last, which is number 4, says charging entities are to take necessary steps to file and pay all outstanding e-levy charged and collected on all transactions that occurred before 2nd April 2025. So
it has set the tone, you know, right for us and the telcos. You don't have an excuse. Yeah.
So if you're, I mean, there should be a way to handle all these systems and things. So maybe they can ask for a grace period of about 3 days. I don't want to say a week because that's too much. So maybe a few days to readjust their systems, and that would go a long way. So what do you have for us on your electronic newspapers?
Right, Yaras, still on e-levy, I have today's daily graphic here, and we can see the President, John Dramani Mahama, signing, something, and they are saying e-levy, betting, emission taxes scrapped, President assents to bill. So just as you read, that is what we are seeing on our screens. We also have government moves to track excavator imports, and we also warning, address issues affecting teachers by April 30. NAT tells government. I can sense, should I strike or do you remember last year the back-to-back
strikes were so many. Well, we hope. I mean, this government says they are a listening government, so hopefully it won't get to a strike. But if it does, we will discuss.
We will get there.
Yeah,
exactly. That's another.
We'll talk about it.
Yes. Okay. So, Clement, what do you also have for us, businessman?
Business. And on the front page, we have the central bank faces economic crossroad. I think on Monday they started monetary policy committee meeting, and on Tuesday we gave update of that where they want to introduce a new instrument known as the 273B instrument to also regulate the monetary aspect of the economy. And we also have another story that says that farmers slam woeful 1.5 billion Ghana cedis agri sector budget. Farmers are saying that there should be 50% of the national budget to the agri ministry. Yes, that is what they're advocating for. But we would have a detailed discussion on all the ministerial budgets on the business update segment from next week onwards. So we will get to know why agri ministry was given 1.5 billion, why education ministry was given over 31 billion. So we get to know all these differences, and viewers will be informed when segment starts.
Okay, we are looking forward to that. Thank you so much. So shall we go into the online news?
Sure.
Now, the first one here says, applicants demand government action on CLOGSAG. So applicants demand government action on CLOGSAG concerns to prevent another strike. So applicants are requesting services at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Births and Deaths Registry and have urged the government to the demands of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana in order to avoid another strike. Now, CLOGSAG began a strike on February 20 to protest the political of Samuel Adumboche as the Births and Deaths Registrar. Although the strike disrupted crucial government services, it has now been suspended, enabling operations to resume as usual. In an interview with the media, several applicants urged the government to swiftly address the association's concerns. Our 3-week strike.
Interesting. We thank God that finally the strike has been, halted for some time. I won't say stopped, halted, because the registrar is still in post, which is going against the principles of neutrality, anonymity, and also permanence, as the civil service is known for. And the little I would just like to talk about is the fact that the principles are clear. We need to understand as people that just as the Bible gives us the 10 Commandments, you do not need to go by, you do not need to flout, right? It's the same thing that is applying to the civil service. They are telling you these are our principles. These are the things that will enable us to work or function properly as an institution. Let me just use the word institution, as we come together to work. And so, as government, we do not expect you to flout this principle. Yet, you go ahead to flout it.
Well, I mean,
how
some
do
of
you
them
expect them to function properly?
Some of them were arguing that I think the Constitution does say the president has the power to appoint. So there was a bit of an impasse because the Constitution is saying this, then the same, I think, part of the Constitution and the civil service laws are also, so it's a bit of a conflict.
So the Constitution says, unfortunately I can't quote the real article, it says that you have the power to appoint in consultation with. So if you want to appoint someone, let's say as registrar for, let's say, any of the department or agencies under the civil service, you should be in consultation with the council.
Okay.
Civil Service Council knows the rules of the civil service. So if you, the president, want to appoint, for example, Mimi to that place, you need to seek their opinion that is the person coming, does he qualify? If you qualify, does it go by the rules and regulation of the council? If yes, then you do that. But if no, you change it. Looking at this strike started somewhere 20th February.
Yeah.
More than a month.
Yeah.
So the question is, why would one individual be the reason for a whole clock sack to be on strike? Why? And another point of the yesterday, thanks be to clock sack and the next very beautiful initiative they brought up, that is resetting the civil service. I love that program introduced by clock sack of the fact that if government is on reset agenda, I believe that every institution is supposed to be on the resetting agenda. And Clocksack has done a good thing. You need to give them they deserve for all this. Yesterday, under watching the resetting the civil service, we have the likes of Nana Ajekum Jamina, the former head of civil service. We have the likes of a doctor and also a lecturer from UGBS. And you could see Nana Jamina's position because he has been there before. He knows what goes on at that very sector. And he believes that you appointing a politically exposed person to positions like this even degrade people who are already in the service. It does not let them come out to function. Because how would you feel? You are the host of Kodage's morning show, and tomorrow you wake up and they say that a different person is taking over your duty. You will become so down. You'll be demotivated. You become so frustrated.
You see, what will even spoil the issue is if that person coming is, very, very affiliated to somebody. No, we are just
let's be careful. Let's be careful.
No, we want to make things very practical. We want to make things very and you see, and when this issue happened, bet and debts for your registration, you won't get it.
Because everybody's on strike.
They should understand, government should understand that the civil service is the let's say the angel that pushes government growth. Because for this all ministers to function, Minister of Finance, Minister of Agri, whoever to function, is the civil service. So if you don't treat the civil service or the civil service staff well, how do you expect them to function? How do you expect them to push the agenda you brought up? One thing I learned yesterday once I was watching the research in the civil service from Nana Jamina was that over the years, there was one chief director that people were thinking he belongs to party A or party B. So before the minister even came to power, he went to him and told that this very person, I don't like him because I have known him to be for party A, of which I am not of party A. But to the surprising of the Nigerian, he said when this minister came to office, the chief director has already picked up the manifesto of the party, done all the skeleton and present to the minister that this is what I've seen in your manifesto, and I think doing this ABCD would help. The thought he had about chief director changed. Why? Because people perceive that civil servants are politically exposed. But when you go down the down grounds, the professionalism is there. They still stick to what they do as civil servants. So we still want to appeal to government. So
standing on what we also learned yesterday, I really enjoyed the RCS. I mean, it's a very, very good program that we need to, push up there. I learned something from the former head of civil service, and he made mention of the fact that neutrality is not about functionality, it's about attitude.
Exactly.
And that was like, wow. So he was asking the registrar in post now that you are there, and because of you, people are striking. How do you feel? If you were indeed neutral, like you would have,
even stepped down
just to make peace, because people are because of you. People are not working, and as a result, look at how it is affecting a lot of people. Now, applicants are saying that government should, listen to our concerns before we go for another strike. And so it is all about the people, like you caring about your people, you knowing how that position is going to affect the people you serve. And one thing that stakeholders, including government, should understand is that the stability of government, as Clement said, depends on the civil service. And so if we are not happy,
Exactly. And before you go, this issue is critical to viewers and also to the entire clock sack. Let me just go to what Nana Jamana said. He said that the survival of the country Ghana is dependent on the existence of the civil service.
Thank you.
So if you fail to treat or if you don't treat the civil service well, your government can't survive. So government we know the Minister of Labor, Jobs and Employment, they had a meeting with last week. We know he's a very good man, and we know he's going to go by his words and his promise given to Clocksack. So we are still monitoring.
Yeah.
Yes, we are still monitoring.
And to add to that, I mean, as we have the right to our own associations and affiliations, that should not dictate the quality of our work. Just because the party you are affiliated to is not in government or is in government does not mean quality of your work should increase or decrease. It should increase regardless of whatever power is in power. So we have a few comments. This is from Aqua Abubakari. He says, good work, Clock TV. My name is Abubakari Aqua from Cape Coast, Ibra Dunkwa. Sorry if I...
Abra Dunko.
Okay, Abra Dunko. Then Barrister K. Rich says, MTN is always quick to tell us you have no call credits in your MTN account. Please recharge. But they are feeling reluctant to effect the changes. I'm optimistic that by Monday, we will be saying goodbye to the e-levy pandemic affecting fellow Ghanaians. Then we also have kudos to my beautiful Yaira, Mimi, and nice to have you guys all back. From Maunya to everyone, especially Clement. Clement, is there something you're not telling us?
The name again.
Mauna. Yeah, Mauna.
Okay, so let's continue. So I extend my greetings to you, Mauna.
Okay, so the second story says Committee on ECG Netco Privatization presents reports. So the technical committee set up to guide the government on private sector participation (PSP) in power distribution by the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company (NEDCO) has submitted its report to the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, outlining 3 key recommendations. Now, the committee is confident that these measures will help resolve the issues confronting ECG and NEDCO. The 3 proposed recommendations are entity concession, multiple lease, and service price.
ECG
Yeah.
in the news.
ECG
has been in the news since last week.
For what? For good works.
Oh, not good works. Issues surrounding like pop-up stories.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
take us away, businessman.
So there are ECJS, let's say, one component under the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. And over the years, ECG have been recording a lot of losses. From the minister, he said every month they incur a loss of over 1 billion Ghana cedis.
Wow.
Every month. So if an institution or an entity, like this, is incurring a loss of over 1 billion every month, then we have a long way to go. So looking at this issue on the table, it didn't start today. It started some years ago. Even in 2019, we saw the issue of the PDS. It's all about this ECG giving it to a private hand, and it didn't really go well. So when you listen to the reports by committee, it was a 7-member committee, and that was being chaired by the one you just talked of. They had challenges that they realized was 9 main challenges, and they group it into 4. We have what we call the administrative challenges. We have what we call the operational challenges. We had what we call a challenge that has nothing to do with ECG, and we have the 50-50 challenges. That is, ECG is involved, and the other one, ECG is not rightly involved. When it comes to the operational challenges, they cited an incident of management and governance. The interference of government and management is not really in good. You also talk of the issue of procurement challenges in ECG. And we know
that's
procurement, exactly. That's what we just saw. Whereby missing of about 1,300, which is containers.
They are not mobile phones, so that someone can put in his pocket.
So
containers.
How do these containers just vanish?
We'll get into that story.
Okay.
So, and in aspect of operational loss, operational issues, they also cited the issue of high loss in terms of collection of their revenue and also commercials. They also cite in terms of high loss in terms of technical and unaccounted energy. So many per their findings, they realize that there are a lot of electricity that has not been accounted for. So that also had high loss.
Connections.
Exactly. And widespread of customer dissatisfaction due to the, let's say, the distribution of electricity. You know, a lot of us are not satisfied of what they gave us. So per all these findings, then they recommended these three major things. That is entity concession. They talk of the multiple lease. And the last one, service franchise. So when you break it down, the entity concession is all about letting a private individual handle ECG. According to the committee chair, it is not about selling ECG to someone, like selling it totally, but it's that you are letting a new management handle it.
So that is a form of outsourcing or
something like that. So that new management is going to take over the helms of affairs, but the real ECG belongs to government.
Sure.
That is the aspect of the entity concession. When you take the aspect of multiple lease, they are of the view that let's break ECG down into various components, because in the distribution chain we have a lot of things that goes on there. So why don't we break it down to about 4 or 5 components, and when you break it down, let each component function on its own, or give it to private individuals to handle such components that we have. That is the multiple lease that we're talking about. The franchise, the service franchise, that talks about customer satisfaction or customer experience. They realize that because of why customers are not satisfied with ECD, what they do, they are unable to pay. Because if I'm not satisfied, then they feel discouraged to pay.
That's
so why
illegal connection?
Exactly. So why don't we give such aspect, that is a low voltage point, to private individuals for them to handle this, so they can have good personal interactions with our customers. And that is what I recommend hedge pensions for, because when it comes to customer experience, they have the best in that. When you go to Pimpamte Hotel, they have the best in customer experience. So Mimi, that is just the background of the story.
Well, I would like to talk about the pros and cons of these recommendations. I mean, to everything there are advantages and disadvantages.
Exactly.
So with the entity concession, well, we can talk about the long-term investments it's going to provide to the ECG and also NETCO, and we are going to get some form of accountability as well, because now that is being handled by a different management, they can account for whatever is happening and even account properly as compared to when it was handled ECG. Now, the disadvantage can be total loss of public control of ECG. I'm scared that a point will come that Ghana will not, own ECG. Do you get it?
Sure.
We will not be the sole owner of ECG, and that can lead to other issues. Now, moving away from that, the multiple lease also, I looked at how it's going to foster competitions among the various entities. So just as you said, the chain of distribution of power, there are so many departments that, and so if I know I'm handling this, I'm going to make sure that I work very hard to ensure that my department serves best. And so at the end of the day, when we come together, the competition will give a very good output, and that is a advantage. But the disadvantage will be how to manage these people. We work here, we know how management is like managing people, managing departments, managing entities. It's another issue. So I think they should also look into that. And then the service franchise, well, I think it's also going to help localize management and tailored services to meet community needs. And so there are needs. So since it's being handled by a different entity, I think service is going to be okay. Now you call and then you get immediate responses. You will not even think of going to. But I think illegal connection is not stopping. It's not going to stop.
Easy, that's what one energy expert I was listening to this morning said, in the person of Kwame Jantwa. He said that the major issue of ECG, when you take management when you take political influence, the next aspect you need to do with our revenue mobilization.
Exactly.
And the last one he will say is the behavior of citizens. He said, let's take ECG as our own. So he made a point that assuming you go buy something and you decide not to pay, how do you expect the producer to bring the same to the market?
Yeah.
So I think the whole idea is because we think ECG is for the government. So
but you know, I have a question. There's a lot of talk about leasing to private bodies, but in this Ghana here that we are, usually there are allegations about contracts, right? So let's say a contract to construct a road. It will be given to a private entity, but it's as though there are allegations that maybe the entity that is awarding this contract has somebody that is like, so I'm here in Clocksag, right? And then I know Mimi is my friend from another place or organization. We are awarding this and I'll recommend Mimi because I know I'll get a cut.
Exactly.
So in this situation where we are bringing private bodies, how are we going to be able to check these things? And then the accountability, who are they going to be accountable to? And how transparent is it going to be?
Okay, so let me respond to that because the minister spoke and he said that all the process is going to be very transparent to Ghanaians. Point number one, the findings is going to be presented to cabinet in the form of what we call the position paper. It's going to present position paper to cabinet for them to go through and approve the one government think is best.
Okay.
The three is just recommendation.
Okay.
They can either decide to use one or two, or maybe at the end of the day they'll be like, oh, we don't like any of them. Do another one.
Okay.
So cabinet is going to decide on that. The next thing that they are going to do is after cabinet choosing one, they are going to have what we call project implementation committee. They are going to see to the implementation of the one that they've selected. Aside that, they are going to have what we call the transactional advisor. So aside the project committee, there will be someone who's going to advise government and also the ministry on the steps that are taken. And he promised that all these things are going to be very transparent.
Well, I mean, management level, our time is up though, but at the grassroots where the actions are going on, that is where the problem would be. But I'm sure later on, maybe on the business segment, we have one more comment here, then we wrap up quickly. HM Joe says, great work, Clock TV. Good morning, Koko Digest team. Good morning to you too. Thank you so much for staying with us and joining in conversation. I did this with Clement and Miriam of Nadidi as always. And up next is a lifestyle segment. Then shortly after that would be the sports and business segments, which will bring us news. So the lifestyle segment will be teaching us about what today? Learning our road science, yes. So
I know the road science.
I know the U-turn and then the zebra crossing. So yes, if you're interested,
We'll be shocked. Because most people when they see others standing there, they don't stop.
Because
So
they don't understand.
They don't understand.
It's a zebra, so they are expecting to see a zebra standing there.
Zebra is in a wildlife reserve. So Miriam will be taking us through knowing our road signs and something, and after that on the main segment we'll be discussing the legalization of Okada. So yes, do stay tuned. Today's conversations are as always going to be informative and educative. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, making waves on your screens. I'm in Clock TV, also streaming live on Facebook and also YouTube. I hope you are joining us. I hope you are sending in your comments as well. My name is Miriam Abena Adede, and just as our song depicts, Easter is fast approaching, and we know it is going to require a lot of movements, of vehicles and also of humans. And we, as part of the lifestyle segment, decided to go out to speak to people about the road signs, understanding them and knowing if they really understand them. We also went to a driving school, Bethel Driving Institute, to also get some form of education, and we did that as a pre-recording version of our lifestyle segment. So stay with us and enjoy.
Whoa, yeah. Ghana, my
Road safety authorities have long road signs to ensure that drivers and road users stay safe. Today, in our lifestyle segment, we set out to explore how road users are complying with these essential safety protocols.
Miriam Abena Adede. I am a driver, and I know that road signs are very crucial in ensuring road safety and also preventing accidents. I know they also provide vital information to road users, pedestrians on directions, and also how to navigate potential hazards. That is why today, as part of the lifestyle segment, we are here at the Bethel Training School to get to know some of the meanings of some of the road signs we see on the roadside, and also have some interactions with our road users to find out if they truly understand some of the road signs they see out there. This promises to be an exciting time here with me, Miriam Abena Adede. Join me as we explore today's segment. It is all about understanding our road signs out there, and we are inside the building of Bethel Training and Consultancy Services in collaboration with the Intercity Transport Coaches Drivers Training School here in Accra, where we tend to understand some of the road signs that we see on our road. And helping us to do this education is one of the instructors here at the driving school. We'll get to know him better, and then we'll start with the brief education. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Okay, please, what's your name?
I'm engineer farmer.
Okay. And what do you do here?
I'm the head of training for the school.
Right. So we are here to understand some of the road signs we see on the road, and I can see they are in 3 sections. But before that, let us understand what the road signs are and then some of the markings.
Thank you. Actually, we have the and road markings, road signs and markings. That is the general for that is the signs. You are indicating that is that is a highway code. The highway code, which is made up of 2 main sections. That is the road signs and then road markings. Yeah. And the road signs are the type of communication. What we see here, these are road signs. It's a communication between you, the motorist, and then the road. As you're moving, the road is speaking, communicating with you, as to the do's and don'ts. And aside the road signs, we also have a similar thing which is imprinted on the tarmac road surface. That is also a form of communication with the motorist. So basically, there are 2 things. We have signs and markings, the road signs. That is what we are seeing here.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, someone will ask, if we're talking about road signs, then they should be put together, but why are they separated? Because I can see warning signs, mandatory signs, and then prohibitory signs. If you can take us through them.
Okay. Well, this is what we have as the road signs. The road signs. They are signs that are mounted by the roadsides or the adjunctions. Communicate, like I said earlier, communicating with you as to the do's and don'ts. And these ones, the road signs, are usually depicted with a red triangle, equilateral triangle, and the kind of warning is indicated with the white background. So what we see here are the type of warning you are being advised. Yes, warning signs. Yes. No, this one, the triangle is representing what the danger you are likely to fall into. So when you see this one, it's a kind of warning to the motorist, and the kind of danger he's likely to fall into is what is indicated there. If he doesn't pay heed to it, then he's likely to fall into it. Yeah.
So let's take a look at a few, and then we'll move to the mandatory. So I usually see this on our road: bend right. Does it mean the driver is supposed to slow down and take a bend, or they have to, get to the junction before they take a sharp curve?
When you see this one, it's a warning advising you to slow down before you get into the bend, because you can't speed. You can't bend while speeding. You can be thrown off guard. So when you see the sign, it means I have to be careful. So I need to slow down before I get there. If you wait till you reach there, you can topple them. Yeah, you can.
Okay. What about any of the signs you would like to talk about? The most common ones that people
these are like this one. It's telling you are facing the road is facing you like this, telling you that ahead of me there is this danger of a two-way traffic, so I have to be mindful of that. Other people are also using the other lane, so I have to be mindful of this and act accordingly. So that is it. This one is also a warning sign telling you that the road you are traveling on, yes, it narrows as you move along. It narrows, so I have to be mindful of that, and also know that there is somebody also in the other lane, so I have to know how to progress within that area.
I think that is well understood with the warning signs. Now let's move to the mandatory signs. When we talk about mandatory, something is mandatory. It is by force.
No, you don't have any other option. You follow what you see there. That is what you have to.
So we can see the stop.
Stop. Yes. It means you have to stop. Whether a vehicle is approaching or not, it's mandatory. You have to stop. Look around, scan around. Is it safe for me to go or not? When you see that it is safe for me to go, then I take off. You don't see a stop and let's look, there's no car coming. So, no, it's mandatory. You need to come to a complete stop, scan the road. If it is safe for me to go, then I make progress.
Well, that is a more common one we've been seeing. But what about this sharp deviation of route?
At times you are traveling on a road, then you come across this. then it's telling you to be careful, because there's a sharp deviation of the route. So you need to slow down and then know how to negotiate that. Yes. At times you see it, places like, times you're approaching a roundabout, or a very sharp bend. If you don't take time and you move with the same speed, it might take you off the road. So you need to slow down. Be mindful of that, yes, that hazard there. So be mindful and slow down so that you'll be able to negotiate that danger zone.
Priority to vehicle from the opposite direction.
Yeah, priority to vehicle from the opposite direction. You are moving, if you are facing the sign this way, it means I'm on this lane, moving that way, okay? And the oncoming vehicle is this way. Now in my lane, they've indicated red. They've indicated it as a red color, meaning that I'm in a danger distance. I should be very careful and give priority. I should give priority to the oncoming vehicle. So if I need to stop, I have to stop, give way. Maybe it's a narrow road, so I have to stop and give priority to him to go. When he goes, then I can have the way to myself to continue. Unlike this one here, say priority over the oncoming vehicle. You are going this way. We drive on the right. You are going this way in the white. And the red, the oncoming vehicle's lane has been indicated as red. So it means I have priority over the oncoming vehicle. So it means I should have access to go. But here is the question. You have to be very careful.
Because does the other car know?
Does he know? Does he understand the meaning of the red there? That's what you have to take note of. Probably he doesn't understand the meaning. So though I have the right of way to go, but I should scan the road, look at him, eye contact, to see whether he's prepared to give me chance to go. If you see that no, he's not in a way to allow you to go, what do? You just, even though you have the right of way, give way to the person.
It means with driving, there's a lot of tolerance on the road.
Perfect. Tolerance. You give tolerance to, yes. You see, there's one thing when we are driving, you take all the other key players on the field, that is the other drivers, let's say, excuse me to use the word, as idiots on the way. You are the only sane person on the way to sanitize the area. Yes. So if even I have the right of way, and I see that no, the way this guy is coming, he's likely to endanger my life, even though I have the right of way, let me give him chance to go. It's about safety. I want to get home safely to my kids. That should be the first thing to.
Okay, so now let's move to the last section, which is prohibitory signs. Okay, what are they?
These are, they all come under the regulatory signs. We have prohibitory and mandatory. We just talked about the mandatory. Now the prohibitory, like the name indicates, prohibited from carrying out certain actions on the road. What you see there. Usually, they are also depicted red.
I even wanted to ask, you see these are round circles and these are triangles. What's the difference?
Oh, no. We wanted to differentiate that from this one. This from that. So this one, usually the prohibited, are usually indicated with a red circle. And the kind of prohibition is also indicated within it. This one, for instance, is telling us that ahead of me there is this danger of what? A no right turn. Usually is placed at a junction where they do not expect you to make that turn. So they indicate it there so that you reach there, you don't make an attempt to, yes, you endanger others. So it tells you no right turn at that particular junction where you where it is sighted. You don't make a turn there. But here we are. You find some people flouting the rule.
I even wanted to talk about the no parking, because even this morning at a point I saw this there, but there was a car parked there. What do you think is the problem?
Well, lack of knowledge by some people. Some people do not know. I don't know how they acquired their license. Some people they are able to drive the vehicle, operate the vehicle, all right, but they have lack of knowledge in this area we're talking about.
It has been perceived that most drivers are oblivious of the road safety signs, and so we went out to find out whether this assertion is true or not.
Right, so we are here at Circle, the KS station specifically, located at Circle. It's a bus station, and I'm sandwiched by two drivers who are going to tell us some of the meaning of some of the signs. We are randomly going to show them, so they'll introduce themselves and then we'll get straight into it. Macho, everyone saying
Kofi Solomon.
Macho, you know
Me bus na original ni mo. Me ana ayo makura me be kwa no no.
Macho, you very easy. Macho na won several things.
Babna Richard.
Ya besi mbisa mo say road signs na e wo kwan ho no. Moti asia na.
Oh yeah, that's asia.
Then na e trem like mu road sign na then na e ka trem.
Road sign bia ne se na ne kasa te se road sign dey need that west kasa. Etu road sign na e na be trem adekode ya bridge wa wo se na road sign te. Ana odu be bia e careful so I wo se na mu ye road sign what I say. Eti dey wo be hunu e no limit na oda ba no so dey be there, oda be.
Right. So I asked him if he understands what the road signs are, and he said yes, he understands. But also signs no, e den e true.
Send me nu an kan road signs no e bia ne na yi because baby wo ho ya twere no e bia slow down. Na slow down no na ya san twere 50 di wo se wi 9 na wo ko se ne ya twere no no. And baby wo ha e crossing ya twere no slow down. And also but your drivers in the I'm telling you they be am kwan so ameka omu ni emra no so and e kwan no e bi nim atale and onim adale what you say eti ono se kasa kesie yi ono a ontimi nko speed baby o kra na ya ya ne 3 lane a wo se wo no wa wontimi nko no wo konten but the third line wo se wa wo betimi di speed afro be pono still enti I had no there me dey bia na meka ekwan no so dey drivers no bebre na minim
then na ofun say e course sa omo nko training na na say e dey na o hwa e
dey e dey sa ba ne say obi o ha fine ye nyina ya kwaje license ne kama medabo free ha e course Senegal na metwi Abidjan to Benin but meka omo yi no ene ye ne ha drivers ni bi na and even Burkina Faso kran wo ba ha omu ni emra no so what you say and ye kan keto obi o ha ohunu nanim ka de wo se ohunu anim ansa na wa ye overtaking ofri wati kas be 5 ohunu nanim na wa ye na ansa ne se meba ba ku se what is from 110 si from anka trade bi ebekunu what you say.
So all he's trying to say is that the signs are very important, and that one of the causes of accidents in this is the fact that a lot of the drivers are oblivious of the meaning of these signs, and he doesn't really know if because they don't really pay attention to it, or the fact that they are just careless on the road. And so we'll get straight into that. Agent Pacho, Mami started with you. Pacho sign way interesting.
Who BBC 70 and I was 70 na was oko ana oko to 40 na and also na where you 9 kra am speedometer no about 40 you ntwa U10 wa ha what you say you ntwa U10 enti wo kwa eni kwa say ukotwa U10 e wo ha
me da sempacho na one way
we need to also there. Keep left. That's and we here so over
There be a right side and that's it. So, over left side. When you careful, no, maybe a direction careful. Those are the same things. When I say runabout.
But you know who driving school?
That be made a man called driving school.
Now and then we see a driving and now we are license.
Made a mission driving, no. Me to me trains and my will be. Timmy Tama, me pon me hono. 19 me gemelans is 2 cities. And I'm a driver based in there. The fact can't you will be the other. Me nya problem be that because send me say me took kana me gini fie. And I'm a gini men so men kwa kana the other there. I thought for man nipa no betima akwafa no abeye but won so yantumi nya body west. Nti de bia na na meka meka kakra me kaura KS ono so baya de ono na edidi ma ebidi nti na drivers egu de bia no abotre na afutuo yakonso a o ma afutuo tane be ya esan timi ba but eni kwan se wo pre gidi ekonya accident what you say
So I asked him if he ever, got trained in a driving school, and he said no. He wasn't trained in a driving school, yet he has his license. He's been driving for so many years, and he has never had any accidents on the road because he's always careful before he takes off on the road. He's very, very careful.
But to the van driving.
Now then I was driving now license.
Oh, okay. I say you training kakra so then you been training me driving.
Where then now license?
After training me we no. Ana because me license get no. You training me na road sign na dey training me na. You be some driving school on things start oh, DBA on na me church and
so what driving how many years?
Oh, 13 years now.
So when accident behind?
Driving me accident that.
I didn't know when accident.
Driving there actually I say oh driver so driving more before for so. It's na say obi wo ha oh wa hwe wo but no oba no. O hwe no to driving na so you careful. Cause driving there risky job. E bia betimesi. It's ahwe ye na. Dey nyina ye de nam.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
I'm fine. Do you understand some of the road signs you see on the road?
Not more, small.
Why do you think the road signs are there?
Because of our safety. And then while you are a driver, you have to learn it and learn it well.
We have some of the road signs here. I would like to show you and then you tell us the meaning.
Here it means no parking.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's parking. Park here.
But I'm seeing stop there.
Yeah, that is stop.
So stop means no parking.
No, you can't stop there.
And then this one.
That one there. No entry. Okay. Okay. Here is when you are going maybe 100 to 60, 80, 60, 80, 60. Okay, that is the small VSK is 160 and long bus is 80, 60. Okay.
Did you go to a driving school?
No.
So how did you learn how to drive and get your license?
Talk of the mates.
You are a mate?
Yes.
You are a mate, not a driver? But you were a mate?
I've been following mates before I learned the driving. I know how to drive them before I will collect.
How long have you been driving?
15 years now.
And have you had any accidents?
No.
No accidents. Thank you very much. Do you see drivers obeying the road signs or not?
Oh yeah, I see a lot of it. I just see a lot of it obeying it, but a lot doesn't obey it. Yeah, and so I would just say, in my opinion, I would just say that it's not all of them. Yeah, it's just few people's. Yeah, that's only I know. Yeah, that's my opinion.
So we want to know how often do you think drivers obey road signs?
I think it depends on the road sign. So something like zebra crossing, I don't think any Ghanaian driver follows the rules. So something like that, I don't think it's become a norm for, like, even when you are crossing the road and the cars come in and there's a zebra crossing, you have to wait for the car.
So what do you think governments can do or authorities can do to ensure that?
I don't know. It's a lot of work. It's a lot because it feels like the whole nation has to unlearn that thing before they can move forward. So personally, I don't know how they are going to go about it. But
Mr. Farmer, however, advised institutions and road users to adhere to road safety protocols and keep themselves updated with road signs.
There's need to constantly, at least once in a day, you go and refresh yourself. You might have forgotten along the line. We have the DVLA, Road Safety Authority. They are all assisting, educating people on the media, the radio, etc., organizing seminars just to sensitize people, be aware of some of these things. And the training school are also doing their bit, also helping with the education. But still, we have a lot of people. Somebody says he's driven for over 10 years. Do you have a license? I don't have a license. And he says he's been driving for 10 years. Look at all these. All these drivers are on the road competing with us. See, so that is why we advise that periodically, come trotro drivers, taxi drivers, Uber drivers. We need all of them to come and refresh themselves.
Wow, and that was a short news feature from the Decks of Lifestyle segment of the Koko Digest Morning Show, where we tend to educate people on the various road signs we have in Ghana. I hope you were informed, educated, and of course entertained, because I know you smiled at a point. Yeah, so basically all we are just trying to tell everyone is that safety is the language on the road. You need to know that you need to be safe at the end of every trip or journey you embark on. And so just as Easter is approaching, please let's ensure that we are safe, pedestrians are safe, passengers are safe, and we are even safe for ourselves. And at the end of the day, we will all be happy. Now, up next is the birthday segment, where we get to celebrate amazing personalities doing so well. And so let's get straight into that.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
And you're welcome back. Now let's get straight into celebrating some amazing personalities. Okay, so our first birthday celebrant is Evan Tekpe Odum. On your birthday, I want to express my deepest gratitude for the sacrifices you've made for me and for being a constant source of support. May today be filled with joy, blessings, and God's favor. Wishing you a happy and unforgettable birthday, big bro. This is from James. We also have this to Gifty, and it says, a happy birthday to you, my dear sister Gifty. I wish you many more years and more of everything you wish for yourself. This is from your sister Na Amankwa Evelyn. Wow. So our very own Isaac Koko, aka Landlord. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to our super fantastic brother and the landlord of Ghana football. We pray for abundant blessings and grace upon your life. This is from the entire Clock Sports crew. Oh, not just Clock Sports, from everyone. Your crushes as well. So a happy birthday to Apostle Abraham Success. This says, glorious birthday to you, Apostle Abraham Success. Thank you for your generosity and dedication to our country. May God lift you up to places. And this is from Mimi. Okay, we also have this Glorious happy birthday in advance to our dear Pascaline Nyamado. You are such an adorable, admirable, and fun to be with lady. With your +1 age, may you continue to increase in wisdom and stature in God and also obtain favor before God and man. Much love. This is from Clock TV. Pascaline, a happy birthday. And also a happy belated birthday going to our very own Bevelyn Annobel. You celebrated your birthday 2 days ago. A happy birthday. We love you. We appreciate everything you've been doing for us. And we also have a happy birthday going to Asabia. You live at Dobro, Asabia. A happy birthday. You've been watching Koko for always tuning in to the show. This is where we end the birthday segment. Now we have some, sports news coming your way right after this. Stay with us. Right, you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. Now let's do some sports updates. But before that, let's take the headlines. And NSA is set to act proactively on stadia renovation to avoid CAF ban. We also have NSA explaining of Oak cannot use the Accra Sports Stadium. We have that coming your way pretty shortly. We also have Rangers Eye Red Star Belgrade Ebenezer Annan. And yeah, they are eyeing him. They want to sign him. And we also have Ancelotti testifies in courts over tax charges. Ancelotti testifies in courts over tax charges. Now, right? Right, so moving into our sports updates, the first story says the National Sports Authority is taking action to address concerns about Ghana's sports facilities. Director General Yao Ampofo Ankra has pledged to prioritize the maintenance of these stadia to meet CAF standards. The NSA's proactive approach will be crucial as CAF enforces stricter regulations on stadium infrastructure. Still on the NSA, House of Folk are once again searching for a venue after being denied access to the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, the National Sports Authority cited a lack of official approval and a late request as the reasons for the rejection. With their usual home ground also unavailable, Hearts of Folk will play their upcoming match at the Tuba Astrostef to the club's ongoing venue challenges this season, raising concerns about the availability of suitable stadium for Ghanaian clubs. And that is the press release on your screen right now. Now, moving away from that, Rangers are reportedly eyeing Red Star Belgrade's Ebenezer Annan for a summer transfer. The Scottish club has been scouting the 22-year-old defender and has inquired about his availability. However, Rangers face competition from other European clubs for Annan's signature, who has impressed since returning to Red Star Belgrade in February. And so our last story, Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti testified in court in Spain regarding tax evasion charges. He is accused of failing to pay taxes on his real salary during his first tenure from 2013 to 2015. Ancelotti stated he never thought about committing fraud. The financial structure to his advisors. Prosecutors are seeking a prison term and a fine. This case follows similar tax evasion charges against other high-profile figures in Spanish football. And that is all we have for you on the sports update with me, Miriam Abna Adede. Up next is business with our very own Clement Abankwe. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ready to groove to the beat of vibrant Afro video.
In a world where neutrality in the civil service is paramount,
Good morning and welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Into our stories, Ghana's inflation rate continued its decline in March 2025, dropping to 22.4% from 23.1% in February. This was largely driven by a reduction in food inflation, which fell to 26.5% from 28.1%, reflecting improved supply conditions and price stability in key commodities.
Percentage point difference between inflation for locally produced items, which stood at 24.0% for the month of March 2025, and for imported items, which stood at 18.7% for the month of March 2025. We do a 13-month trend analysis for food and non-food inflation on a year-on-year basis. For the second time in a row, we've seen a downward slowdown in food inflation, slowing down from 28.3% in January 2025 to 28.1% in February 2025, and further slowing down to 26.5% for the month of March 2025. So in 2025, for 2 consecutive months, we've seen a slowdown in food inflation over a 2-month period. On a year-on-year basis, for inflation, we continue to record a steady decline in non-food inflation, with non-food inflation currently standing at 18.7%. This is the lowest non-food inflation year-on-year that has been recorded in the last 13-month period, peaking around 23% in May 2024. We've considered a gradual slowdown in non-food inflation, albeit a slow pace that have been recorded in the 8 months. We do month-on-month food and non-food inflation over the 13 period. In the month of March 2025, month-on-month food inflation stood at 0.2% deflation, and this generally meant that general price levels of goods and services decreased by 0.2% between February 2025 and March 2025. This rate of 0.2% is a 4th consecutive decline that has been recorded in the last 5 months, and this 0.2% decrease is the second lowest over the 13-month period, as a deflation was also recorded in August 2024, and the next lowest that we've recorded was March 2024.
Away from that, the Ministry of Finance has enacted a Public Financial Management Amendment Act 2025 aimed at strengthening fiscal discipline and ensuring economic stability in Ghana. Key reforms include enhanced sanctions for fiscal mismanagement and new fiscal responsibilities, measures that require a primary surplus of at least 1.5% of GDP.
An independent fiscal council will monitor compliance with these rules, enhancing transparency and accountability. This legislation repeals the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2018 and streamlines oversight under the new Fiscal Council, reinforcing the commitment to restoring fiscal discipline and promoting long-term economic resilience in Ghana. An independent fiscal...
In our last story, President John Dramani Mahama has signed into law the abolition of the betting tax, electronic transfer levy, emissions tax, and several other levies. The signing, which took place in his office, represents a major step in his administration's agenda to ease financial pressure on Ghanaians and promote economic growth.
Eliminating these taxes was a core commitment in the National Democratic Congress manifesto aimed at lowering the cost of living and encouraging expansions. On Wednesday, March 26th, Parliament passed a bill repealing the controversial e-levy, which was introduced in 2022 by the former New Patriotic Party government. The repeal has been widely welcomed by the public, who have long called for its removal.
That's all we have for you on Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe, but I want to use this opportunity to wish Auntie Beatrice Edu of Italy happy birthday, happy glorious birthday, and also to my personal chairman, Listo Hamid Sama, a glorious birthday in advance to you too. Do watch Business Update segment and stay for the rest of our content.
welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the Koko Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our main discussion on the legalization of Okada and matters. So today I'll be having two guests, one from the National Road Safety Authority in the person of Mr. Felix Owusu, who will be joining us later. He is the planning manager of the National Road Safety Authority in the Greater Accra region. Then we have Evans Waja. He is the PRO of Okada Riders Association of Ghana. He's here with us, so we'll be having our conversation with him first and foremost. So I'm sure a lot of you didn't even know that we have an Okada Riders Association, right? So yes, we'll delve into the conversation. So Mr. Evans, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you to having me.
Yeah. Okada Riders Association. We didn't know there was something like that. When did Okada Riders Association start?
Well, let me greet your viewers. Okada Riders Association started from 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Yes, we formed the association and it's become a front and back to go off and then rise again, go off. So we got to 2019 when Mani Mahama boldly said when he came on power 2020, he will legalize Okada and then give us a proper measures to work.
Okay.
Then that was when the Okada Riders Association became a family.
Okay.
So that a lot of members are joining. We have lawyers who have interest about our business are joining us.
Okay.
So Okada Riders Association have been in system almost 6 to 7 years.
Okay. So Okada Association, do you have a sort of list of all the Okada riders in Ghana?
Oh yes, we have our database.
Okay.
We have our database, we have our membership card, we have our office at Taifa.
So is it only in Accra or we have?
No, we
others?
have some of our office at Kaswa and then Eastern region.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we see any Okada rider in town, are they members or there's something different about the people who are part?
No, they're different a little because not everybody that have a membership card as Okada, and the person also is open. Okay. So those that don't have a membership card are not our members.
Okay.
But those that have a membership card, that are members.
Okay. So if there's a situation concerning an Okada rider, how do we find Okada Riders Association to address the issue?
We have a let me say a WhatsApp platform.
Okay.
And we have our office. So when you have any issues, you report to the leadership of Okada Riders Association. Okay. Then we take it from there.
Okay. So this question might be obvious, but why was the association formed?
We formed an association because of legalization of Okada since 2009. Yes.
So do you come together to address the concerns of your riders, like maybe training as to how to ride the motorbikes? Or because the Okada riders in Ghana don't have a good name. They seem to be one of the major causes of the road accidents in the country. Any sort of training measures and things like that you have in place?
Yes. You see, the Okada issues, the politicians, the Okada issues. Do you understand? Because when Mahama said he will legalize Okada 2020, then Okada name has changed.
Okay.
So the Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia government decided not to do any business with Okada.
Okay.
So if you have safety, they will force us to change our name. That they don't want to meet Okada. So we should find a different name. And but that is a name that everybody
also knows. Okay.
So it gives us challenge.
Okay, but do you train your members? Do you teach them? Like, you see, just in the lifestyle segment, they were talking about road signs. Do you have something like that for all your members?
Sometimes road safety help us to train our people. Last we went to the region, Aplau, to have a training there.
Okay.
And as leadership of Okada, we used to have giving them pictures when you write wrongly, what will happen and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking to you now dear, we have a training school that in our support.
Okay.
We have some businessmen need to invest on the Okada issues. So even 15th, 16th, we'll be having a training at Kaswa in Accra Central.
Okay. So how long do these training sessions last?
Okay, we do it 3 days. 3 days? Yes.
So
the theory will be in 1 day and the practicals will be 2 days.
So you can use 2 days how to ride a motorbike and all that?
No.
Okay.
Those that are operating Okada, those who know how to ride motor.
Okay.
Road science and other things. So we help them to that.
Okay. How long have you been an Okada rider?
Since 2008.
Okay.
The youngest Okada rider.
Yeah.
Among those that demonstrate against Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Professor Atamas 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So a lot of us, pedestrians and other motorists have safety concerns about Okada operations. What are some of the safety concerns you yourself, as a member of the association, you've also heard? Like, what are some of the complaints people have brought?
Oh, a lot. A lot. And some of the concerns are not even for me to say it on air because of my members. Some of them are reckless. Oh yes, and then we need to train them.
Okay.
So far as the person need a training, mobile phone and you have effort, you have to take it to the repair for repair to do it. So training.
Yeah.
We need support. We need support from government. We need support from everybody.
Yeah.
To help us to acquire the knowledge that we use to operate Okada business. Yes.
So you said some of your members are reckless. What are some of the, punitive measures that you undertake for some people like that?
Riding red lights, riding one way, riding where you don't supposed to use a motorbike.
So like being the PRO, part of management, if you get a call that one of your members has misbehaved or ridden recklessly on the road, what do you do to that person?
We call the person and then we have a discussion.
Okay.
Talk to him. How you are riding, you'll find yourself into trouble. And some of them we can even arrest and give it to police.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So it means that you guys are working
very seriously.
Yes. Okay. So have you ever been involved in an accident?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So what do you think was the fault and how was the whole experience?
It has been a long time, but I can boldly tell you that I was afraid of Ghana Police Service at Kuala Lumpur traffic light. Okay. So when I get there was many police officers standing. And I was not having license. Okay. So I was afraid that police will arrest me. So because of the arrest, I decided to cross red. And then I get a crash with a Pentecost Elders taxi.
So you saw policemen and you crossed the red light. Of course, wouldn't they catch you?
No, not that time. When you cross red and you are able to escape, then you are free. But if you stop the traffic light, they will come and just off your engine and start questioning you. So when you get to a traffic light, then you have to find to escape them. Yeah.
So do you think wearing helmets and following the traffic rules reduces the accidents?
Oh yes.
Okay. So do you also encourage your members to wear helmets and the safety gear?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So as part of, you say you have a database. Can you give us, let's say, a percentage of your members who abide?
I can boldly tell you today that we are almost 500,000.
500,000 Okada riders.
But Greater Accra, we have 307-something thousand.
Wow.
And even today, we are still making our database in the central region today.
So what percentage of this 300 and something thousand can you boldly say follow the rules of wearing the helmet, safety gear?
Almost 70%.
Almost
70%. And that credit goes to the former IGP, George Akufu Dampare.
Yes, he was on your neck.
He done well for us.
Okay.
He done well for us.
So, what are some of the ways you think the government can also Okada riders?
You see, Okada issues shouldn't be in political field. Okada deserve to have a critical thinkers, those that have a knowledge about the job, not political appointment. That somebody will say, okay, I will be in charge of Okada without knowing nothing about Okada issues. Okay, Okada issues are very something tricky. For instance, if you insure your motorbike, maybe comprehensive insurance, how much you think is going to cost the insurance company to insure your motorbike? Okay, and we are talking about a human life.
Yeah.
You see, somebody can even sue the insurance company or the rider or the owner of the motorbike. So we need the critical thinkers should take part of Okada legalization. So we, as Okada Riders Association members, and we don't have access to close to the leadership of the government. And we shall give them an idea that will help us, will help the nation.
Okay.
I have an opportunity to travel to Dubai to experience how they operate. They are not using their motorbike for passenger, but the delivery is very more.
Okay.
So there's a Ghanaians that will travel here to Dubai to go and ride a motorbike there for the delivery service. So I suggest, I think if I have opportunity to meet the Minister of Transport, I'll suggest something unique so that if they apply it, it will help us.
Okay. So with the delivery services, are there people who operate Okada mainly for delivery different from those who passengers, just like the Churchill operates?
Okay. For instance, I am Okada rider from Tudu. I don't think the riders in Tudu will be interested to take a passenger more than the delivery.
Okay.
Okay. And those that are working don't have time to passenger. They don't have time. Okay. They are always delivering spare parts and all that thing.
Okay.
Okay. And it's individual contract. This guy is Ashanti man. Oh, then one of Ashanti man have a shop here. Or if I give my pass to him, he will not run away with it. Then you start working with a lot of like 2 or 3 people. So when you deliver the 3 or 5 parcels a day, when you deliver the 5 parcels a day, you will make your daily sales. Okay. So I suggest, like if I have opportunity to meet the Minister of Transport, I would rather suggest to him they should open for private investors to come in, creating this app. Let us add all the Okada riders on this app. Maybe my app will need 500,000 riders. We give it to you. My app will need 6,000 riders. We give it to you. When the person is operating online, one will pass through training. The app will monitor the rider. It will reduce. And if you are moving from Accra to Tema, you know you are going to spend maybe 45 minutes. Nobody will call you to disturb you. Where are you? Where are you?
Okay.
Okay, yes.
So you said there are also private contracts and things like that.
Yes.
Now, being members of the association, I'm sure you take dues and things like that for your welfare. So how would somebody who how would you be able to get the person to say, okay, contribute this money to take care of your welfare?
We have a zonal platform. So if it's something happen, let me say, Odudu constituency, they have a zone. They have their platform. So they will put the message to the national executive that, this is what's happened to us. Tell them that, okay, you people will need maybe 1,000 or 2,000 Ghana cedis to solve this problem. So put it on your platform. Maybe some of them will pay 500 cedis. Other one, somebody can even pay more than the so that they will use to support
each other. So what happens in the association when maybe I come and report that somebody has stolen my spare parts and it's your member or your other rider? So help me.
Maybe the person don't have a membership card. How can I trace? But if the person have a membership card and you say, this person have your membership card, which is station number 04, automatically we know the person because we register you with your Ghana card, photocopy, your 2 guarantors, one your family member, one your station chairman.
Okay.
So when the person, somebody reported you that you maybe this person take my parcel and he didn't deliver it, or he delivered a parcel instead of him to bring me money back, he refused.
Okay.
Then we are going to the call the station chairman. This station member do this. So go ahead and then get him for the association. So the association will rather press the rider to take your
okay.
belong.
So if a member, if they do something,
it will find difficult to trace the person if you are not a member.
What if you are able to trace the person? Would the association be able to do something about the situation?
We can even sack you not to work at, maybe if it is Abosokai, we can tell you we don't need you to go and work at Abosokai.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Okada riders had an association, and I mean this whole system is in place. I thought they were everybody is just riding their motorbike on their own.
You see, it's a politics.
Oh,
politicians are doing that kind of thing to have advantage, to have their campaign messages and some other thing. Yes.
Oh, okay. So we are here from the PRO of the Okada Riders Association here in Greater Accra. So do send in your questions via our WhatsApp number that will be displayed on. When the phone lines are opened, I will do well to inform you so that you can call and ask your questions. Later in the day, we'll be talking to the planning manager of the National Road Safety Authority, and then he would also be bringing the of the road safety issues as well. So back to Okada riding. Is it a very lucrative business?
More than. I don't think I can even have interest to work with any institution, or that I will be a minister or president. Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Because I end up something that I will use to take care of my family. So I'm okay.
So Okada riding being a lucrative business, are you able to afford your gear, your helmets, your gloves and things?
Oh yes.
What about the population of the members of Okada Riders Association? Are they also able to?
Yes, every Okada rider. When you see someone riding motorbike, doesn't mean that the person cannot buy. He can buy it, but.
So how are you able to also enforce some of these road safety rules and regulations on your members?
We do a lot, Okada is
okay.
So
it is on the part of the members, they are not able to adhere. So what are some of the things you think maybe you can suggest that if it's the police or some of the authorities can do to make these people wear their safety gear?
Okay. That is what I said. We should be working with apps. Okay. Do you see, let me say, Ghana Posts? Do you see how their riders prepare themselves to work? They dress neat because they're going to pick a parcel from somebody's office to other one's office. So you have to look good. Okay. So if you are working with app, your dressing will even disqualify you. Okay. So you have to dress neat. So when we are working with this kind of institutions, there is no private company will open the app and then give it to the other to be doing unnecessary thing on the app. Okay. We are not doing it like this, and we say we want to do politics and all that. And it will not
This politics issues on your heart. So we have a question here from a viewer. It says, don't you think Okada riders need a special registration plate to distinguish them from the bad ones?
I don't suggest that for the government, because a special number plate. Our number plate is only Okada motor riders are using that number plate.
But you see, being members of the association, the people like the tracing matter. So if this maybe the traffic camera has caught an Okada rider and the person did something bad on the road, and we look at the number plate, we know association. So when we just even send the number plates to the association management, they can easily track it. Wouldn't it also help?
But what about if you are using a motorbike? Motorbike as a delivery, you have your delivery service logo on your basket or your bag or something like that. I think that one will be even better than, because when they give us a different number plates, now we are using blue. somewhere in 2009, they changed Okada number plate from the white number to blue number, and we are now going to change it to give Okada a special number. It will still going on. Somebody will not even operating Okada, but the person will go and register the motorbike as Okada rider and be using it unnecessary using, so that somebody will sit and say, "Hey, Okada for no still omugusu yo omunkwasi." I don't know. Excuse my language.
So okay. So it seems then the problem is a behavior problem.
Yes, and to quite be first why you be training and crown for no. That is the best.
Okay. Inti anamombe na mupesa mutu in that faction.
What say? Akwakoye say bibia akwakoye why na wo name no na ti utri mu po kwakoto nanim amane bia ye adwuma ma wo. Do you understand? So na enunti no like wo trimupo bi krampo no a ontimi ndru ba bia asesa trimupo ni du e bia ne owo opportunity to that side and so no eni sa ni modie no.
Okay.
What I say? So Okada rider e fan titiye mu e kura certificate e kire say like the person is properly trained. When in pass be a many pick up gun and a juma. When the person wake up in the morning, charge his phone, finish everything, then you go online. You are waiting for someone to request you. I didn't know the motor by heart. Like Omo riding motor Okrum by heart. Mean fun say 30% of Omo riding motor by heart to Okrum. And you Okada riders.
But one say ye ni yanshada ni bibia etimi show say we Okada rider from the association and now we say you be ordinary motor na nam keke.
Entino say ye ni bibia etisa no. Ene ye beye Okada rider never training more. The ni ye be kire say we after training more.
Okay. Inti na mwankasa no muntimi like come together with police na maybe one or more I can some of these ideas so that you can probably train them and then show them say okay to say maybe MTTD for they would be able to teach them so say necessary way or kind of road safety for munina mobile together na for into Obiba say oh I'm coming to register as an Okada rider. Fine, you know how to ride Okada, but you need to go just like said DVLA when him car can but still you go and learn again, pass the exam. If you can't you come together and do something like that?
Hey, say bit to me, yes, sir. You say send your government we my opportunity say na membu muno obetwian for Okada ho because previous government utna say only police for din komo we cry back so Okada ye legal business so to sorry free hako. Ya tro be briama some of them will just receive you, listen to you. Say, oh, Charlie, a good idea. Na modern namu. Namu mojuma na mrabian techri. Until as me as a police officer, me to me, you many Muslim person. Oh yes.
That's very bad because at least even though say any legalized crime, to me nyamuhua to anamo yanka as a someone nyamwana because they are still on the road. We can't get rid of Okada riders. People are also patronizing.
Oh, and I make us say Ghana hano no bibia kwa politics. Today base ready say Excellency John Dramani Mahama transport ministry. Right, my name say because Okada ye here training. Thinka omude Okada kwa share maybe youth empowerment for special training. Nanka ya nya access to training because 15th 16th program where ye ba be you know mano ska wodi she mo nyen ska kuma maybe 300 riders first no one just say na adene beko and say o mind muna like we yin she me say on training Okada for creating a sector a bit training Okada for and they can very perfectly
say even DVLA ka mutimi ko share DVLA de o kotoka na say o pese o sia ka kania dia o wia you come and register license and everything say mo de can DVLA ho emwa
sana ye tichi no na no menya opportunity share road safety boss o cancer assembly chire say omugusu eye meet omodi Okada bekwa share under road safety and you know say ngeni mpa bi a 2000 na mo wa ha na mo association separator mo be ba register association under road safety. Now o mo take him through training. So we are waiting for the best.
Okay. So more questions we will have. But we say Okada riders still ignore the red lights, just as he said earlier on. They also ride in between vehicles and smashing car side mirrors and run away. So what can distinguish a legitimate or a genuine Okada rider? Because we still can't see difference. No uniform or nothing. It's from Solo. I say, yeah, Mukras. Red light. Most so na mo for cars in the mamo says and for mirrors. And instead of difference, say uniform bia ni ho amosha na bibia e betimi so we the association ni nti no.
Me de say me on say na me bibia e training. Say nipa na e pass good training na So when now in the middle of the cars in the crampo na obey ahwe yiye because of training any nimudi awo. Only the obi can uniform as a man may dream home. Now, when Ghana conform, share the same uniform still almost the body. Yes, so I say, and uniform the yen and flow. Now, young man can come for no day, and your training. Okada rider, and a pay me many. Yen na yajina or doko traffic light. Onukwaba anywhere engineer. And I was saying, I see a light in the air. So, me moto Johnny Chen and to me better than Missana say, wouldn't mean as I say, and I jina one nana. Then a yen jina. Now, one of it is all upon a design a traffic light where did you not tell and say? Because which I said you were yet to see one mono. If I should be, I feel, oh, me won't say, oh, catch him so sorry, one yes, I do. So what and to say the come for no fancy more. Forget about what they say in uniforms no. And now munya
sa reflector ni be jackets ni bia maybe a different color maybe say white be na obia share. Yeah will be stations be started here with the membership card. Yeah, the membership number no abo. Isa nang kasi betimi abo ana ne ye kani poboni ni asemu emo okay obi nso se mi mbisa say what Okada moto nka Okada moto a businessman bia oba yesel person one Riders Association enye business and one leadership no enye den you see akwa say but was send me picture be I say almost 14th to 18th April, almost training batch 2. Into almost a master road safety and best riding practices, boost your earnings with riding skills and get certified and stand as a top rider. Into almost training nibi. So and then I make gusu kano. Fan say Okada riders, training. Moto, training. Sankofa riders, for training. Within a year. Some conforming in a perfect riders, it was system. What you say, and Tiamrenko and Nemono say, why wouldn't you belong to any association? It will be very hard for you to operate. Yeah, so what you say, and as a Ubeka association, the association will force you to pass through training. I say, the association will force you to pass through training until a year about the uniform, but the quality of woman, and a bema council. Okay, it's association be no say me may train so na me the training maybe me wa aboso kan but aboso kan for ya mo gina me say me training na maybe maka say oh this year training can me fa nti ejuma no makoye wo be Madina something like that no where dey trace me wo kwakoye ejuma no wo mana udro no Madina for no be bisa wo say because me station say me ejuma wo to do here. Into more stations. Oh yeah, what stations? It is no be Friday one. The station. Oh to do GT bank. Say honey e chain wo. Okay. This a new come na oba. Ebi a oba be fa ade. Ebi a obi afa say be twen dey ni problem. But say oba be ye when e dey oba e. Wo free him fa dey nti na oba be ye adwuma wa. Baby a na wo ye adwuma na dey na si ye nti na wo free ho. Okay, inti eya moti me frɛ the other station manager. Okay. It is now we ejuma wakaswa na ufree wakaswa station be maybe high tension.
ye will be our own so okay only person say na we adwuma wo mo wo na de nti na wa firi wo oh ebi a woni obi na akontina police pen na ache no e na wa firi wo no mo aba akra wo na say dia wontumi ngina because obey the same thing wa say
okay
and your stations bi wo ho no mo a omu ye nipa 30 omu gusu ye nipa 30 baby to say Rollins Park usrumpo usrumpo so di moto o wo bi di moto be kwa gina ho so wo ye adwuma
adey
because nipa the father of Okada no na wo adwuma and you no decide say many nipa asumensi na ye adwuma was station ha tu ba ma me frame akula bi wo so hwe say the station was obejiwa no wo de wa manipa
okay obi nso say it's high time serious arrest and prosecution takes place. The law is too soft on Okada riders. In TCCA, me person me bisa. I say police and say ya mutai jina musopa, but still.
Niya we nipa na wa taxi message we no. O person rano jina yesun kosi saying.
O kase nipa boni for ya sometimes.
Enyo Okada phone ko emu na nipa boni for.
But won say to say the equine ko na Okada rider jina 2 cars in team obi side mirror be say one shana o dane
one was that 2 side no entiamra babia yes na me sure the entiamra on enye 2 lane mu no wonamo ebia fane say articulator equine ni articulator equine ni na Okada rider ntimi nkodi ada lane
eni nka jina ne chie
Okada ada lane mu be say 2 saloon cars ba kunam ha ubehwe we ni side ha no no e kwan da wa moto betimi ayeden afa akọ anwo ne car ba ko no e we the same lane mu
but asem na me bisa ne say ebi wo won say traffic na afi mu nyina mo be teni na kwan ni kitikiti bi o ebi wo ka motor rider we who say e kwan but still person of him na
obi car a lack of knowledge and it meant me ni wan chinyi nipa ni mu de bia to say Okada moto gusu ye nkron for training yes you best start here training on 15-16 until we say you go training na ye kire osan yema we nyina na opi abonten a me kai me meeting bi a many research for years sa da be sin ne me do traffic light mpo na so yellow a me gina
but omododo na yellow there is some more
enti no say ye the training mo na road safety for ba ebe ma won kire eyi videos bi ma wo hwa ke bua wo ma wan kasa wo ye responsible to the road
okay inti obi nso say Miss Yara, I have noticed that most of the Okada riders do not have helmets for their passengers. Why is it so?
So police is wo na wo kra moto na wa for passenger na woman passenger in helmet ye chiwa Okada Riders Association yemba ho
na aden na Okada Riders ni bi omu ni helmet man passenger
on fanto on she
is it still the lack of training?
The lack of training. Now you say what's the use of that helmet? Now I want it just recently I had celebrity holidays. When riders are motors nam crew over 50 motorbikes obia in helmets. Yes, over 30 motorbikes no almost so pen no more obia in helmet. Officer so when you dear any the important of the body now what the namanoa obey use motor that kind of way baby.
Okay, so was it almost stations near there?
Yes.
Inti training ya wo kan ho asem no association no mo tunsa from nyina on various stations say oh Charlie mo riders na mo ha no mo nyena mo bra training ana mo so no mo beji materials we mo fan be training mamo station for so that obia benya
your first training na yen as association no e ba be ye no eno na ya starti nti sani ya yen no ye first station chairman no nko na omo be pass through that training kaswa for station chairman for nko na be training no so at as sinipa ne pass through training no wi a or the message ne be ye den ebe call the station so next time you can say ye back kaswa for training na enye default for us to get members and the members now wo mo ekra membership card ni nyina no ye be for sister within this 2-3 months no ye be training omo nyina
na say training no Because sa training no anka de call 2 rounds bi anka we nyanka. Inti no sa no say na mo be no.
Yeah, mouse a chance no.
Inti yeah and me daily bread no. Me nya medical training. E be den na wait me convince me say member am be training because anka sometimes the whole day na anka me nya be 50k bi am be say me ho.
Yeah, the entire say en concern kind of things. You perceive a build or mind papa. And a dimbone okada dimbone no adoso.
Yeah.
Eya ya so we okada rider. Ebeye will be full so ya so you okada rider. Nti say we be to no once wo. E say obema mo ntiti ya. De be nti na within 2-3 days no. Na only school do allow you to go and say no ma be lawyer. School more than 7 years. Until 3 years I will be 3 days I will be kwasua ade. E dey professional rider no. We can say oh we ejuma 3 days na obenya bia 300 Ghana binti no nko.
It even brings me to my question with Obi so tell him most of the Okada riders are illiterate about training. They see safety. Inti ebimu wo ha omo anko school ebimu nso ase efienyansa ne sheda endorse. Inti those kinds of people are omo sheda hu omo say the kind omo body home for so and I say how to take care of yourself because in Koko do na so no you see unemployment rates are those. Some of them are youth actually wababwa ne ho saa na wakunya ne 4k 5k bi akotomoto opeska ntemtem inti eno saa no how will you be able to train these people one shot maybe one course school and coaching na mo be trading no mo be den amanati ase say it is beyond making money.
I mean sure ade ba we can say makon ahasi obi to ajramoa cat edi kogu fie oni aboa ne tena aboani timi hu se me wura kwa adwuma oti se car na abo banpe na aboa na sorry ohu se emre adru se ne wura hede abefi and there is nothing about so be illiterate I want to make because there is no illiterate can operate motor business me ntibrofo and intimi illiterate ana no so what you say me twi nya de and intimi illiterate ana no ni modie no awode timoto no so no ene ye person wo
okay
so what you say nani ye nti e kire se hwe we riding motor FST oncoming vehicles are a danger to your life na ye man videos bia wo bia ye the same thing one to me and survive there enya brofo na ye de kwa enya brofo wotena motor no so wi brofo be na o can be ni modie na wo de be operate motor no ene ye person ye de ma wo not about educational this is all cabro finance one cabro
Obi Isaac Kumasa and to say more to our thieves in disguise please lecture us on that.
Okada riders are not thieves Obi kasa asem no meka share nimpa say Okada rider bia ne wono mo a oye kronfo mo asia say ye Okada riders are bebree adwuma wasia mahano mo na wachina obetimi aba biu mo ana nti Okada rider nya thief na mo gala ni bia wono na adwen ni say opentema kwakọbọ kro no na woti moto so no odikodi boni wie ye no ena ohun ni say obi gina nche no odi moto abesin ye na chese nipa na odi moto no so akwahwem obi bag no de na kire wo a wo hu ye no de na kire wo say we Okada rider
it's na nka ye bisa senka isn't there anything I able to media distinguish an Okada rider from somebody who just has a motorbike
and one say nipa ne be fat through training no who say be bia wonam no there is a system monitoring the person
okay intinka to say systems be na maybe tracking device be yeah they are sharing the motorbike ne ho ne dey hu ne movements ne there wouldn't that also help
yeah wo app bi wa ha no mo a or a foreign app or
more boats ni biana
me dwa mo me pese me bo wo
okay
boat delivery na boat monitor wa kwesi so be delivered no could you believe say oh building we muna say oh them from brel na boat rider the bar na wambedru na okọ maybe works and house or power nya den won't mean deliver then or just so about premises so what you say obedru ansa na boat aye den aje tum say what ade na ba baby ana wa wo so hia ade no ansa na o ma bi app na mana aye den na watanya the new enti say you pass through training na yenya private investors na omo de ye adwuma Wohu omu di ye adwuma omu ne riders ne ye adwuma rider na ono wote ne moto no so ekwa deliver obi ne mama no edi edro call hospital bi ekwa je lab obi ko ba bi no onim se ne app we monitor no.
Okay, intinka riders na mu use yam no eno so ombe den use sa apps ni nyama.
Oh, means ka say ye use yam de na mu say 80% of Okada riders they use hand with.
Okay. Obi so ne problem say I'm kojo honesty. Some of the motor riders don't bath before going to work. Me beside
only motor riders do say na TV, right? That is not.
It's say to say me even mate for new because what's natural training and opportunity to na on man in so do you also have hygiene lessons in your training for them? So anya say who say look presentable na nipa na o koninchen wa ma obua esefata something like that.
Yes.
So you have that kind of training. Now in a situation now to set the whole day who age ma o riana no sa o team fife ni ade maybe could that be the reason that the person who say
ono an consider na ho be dia o say ni o person o tiase because me nye sure say the workers asem no ni o kada ride the VTF at say
okay in say about government but mesrel government who say me pacho eyana kasa no akwan kakaware inti obi say the okay no this is a my producer say me bisa say in previous government no saying na how did they treat you in the past 8 years? No, abai no saying omonemo related, but no.
One, a chin.
But one say
omo any year and dini. That's what I say. Omo ni year and dini. In terms of omu yiye maye omu emu die omu nkan ye budget omu nkan ye bibia ho nti aban ye bibia on including Okada for apart from say taxes are or the baba to Ghana for so no na ye nso ye tua bi be aban no the aban na etwa mu ne de to be frankly speaking nya interest about any political party the ntia ye hu ne say campaign mo Okada for year campaign kakra was legalization of Okada ye hu ne say excellency John Dramani Mahama champion so what you say and me can say in that no am wire mo be ntina be can say ada akwa we ye PNC ni ana so we ye no but aban na am wire edru baby na ni baye pa enibre na baye no ma enibre na baye no ma ye koshia IGP enibre na baye no ma ye koshia IGP ye shia IGP no IGP G2 mu say IGP G2 mu say niema na ye de beto na nimu no eso eni nti IGP de the nice C form emma niema bi anai haye no police for etwintwan so kakra egugu niema bi mu emma yenya bibi haya yetimi kwa bonten koka emma ne ye adwuma so atiase be aban no I said the whole body of Nana Kufa government there.
Okay. So because once they are buying for almost legalization, so that maybe mistakes the past government made, this new government will make sure to avoid them. Moving forward, buying ways legalize. What are some of your expectations as an association? Then I'm person who from this new government say we near be mama.
And then I medical can say like nimudie and I riders ni here most until legalization of Okada no senior almost encourage register associations no register under road safety na yentimi and pass through training no so abine to me yen sa na Okada for ye me fan say ye be 1.7 1.8 million na ye mu 1. Qualified sa basa ye ni bi a enkoyi Okada force no ebe ba form abai ne be sourcing and pure 24-hour economy Okada na betimi ayesa etuma
in a situation here in Koko to say the Any difference between an Okada rider who is in his business and somebody who is just riding his motor? 24-hour economy, no. Will it be safe?
Yes. The entire me say Okada bit my champion 24-hour economy, no. Say apps no ye juma. Me I want to champion app because say uye juma wa hanumu ebi awa be juma 7 o'clock enyumre na omba hia ebi aduane bi wo fie na wa fa wo phone wa order me friend say papa ye Ghana for the ntimi fa papa ye for business na wa order aduane afri papa ye uwe juma mu rider be kwa akofa ebi akwa deliver ma omba wo fie ananso ade bia wo beto no so ati ase wo so wa hanumu a wo hia bibi no onipa no so ebe di be ma rider amane di abro enti say apps ni ye juma te this online drives na omuye ma always anytime bi obeko online bi obenya driver abaye den aba fa enti say apps ni juma pick up Ghana app bi a eba no app bi a ye Okada fo ankasa na ye pese ye de babontin so ati ase say oman ni jitum na app no be ye edwumaku a make a chiro plan the next 2-3 years ye be the biggest employer in Ghana.
Yes. Okay. Obi used to say I agree with the contributors. Some of them are thieves. Most auto theft occurred with motorbikes, so everyone believes Okada riders are thieves. They smash car windscreens and steals. So check the crime statistics from the Ghana police. I'm say crime the same way has and say no na a lead in the situation. Inti monso so no den na mo wait me aya fa ho.
Say and na medical can say so be a rider. Now we juma was stationer. Uni ye kura be ma ye say wonye obi a say na we ye juma so atiase. Obi abu obi ka ni awiade obi Obi mobile phone work.
That is also one of the things.
Yes.
Me take motorbike when I'm.
Yes. Sade no ya dia e ha adwen pa. But bisa o mo say nipa na wo hwima de no. O station na wo gina ye Okada na. Debi.
Anu de ya
motor rider no.
Motor rider.
So no me say motor rider bi e di motor akwa wi ade na mo manyi Okada rider. Were a motor rider. Me Kai Ghana for year. I'm said somewhere 3 years ago. Nkrofo the motorbike. Echo ball billion van 2. Na ebe wi achire no ye tete yes o mo so say pusifo. No mo ti moto so. O mo so be kan o mo aka Okada for one na. Debi. Nti ye fa ne say ni pa bo bi. E use motorbike. E di bone. Na say o man gi etum. Na ye Ghana ebo mo ye adwuma. Me ka say we wa ha say me Make my Jina Bontin dimension point say number plate where bomoto where you fake anyway because my year jumana minimum side kind of things no nti say o man gi etum na ye ni Ghana police service entity di e ka bomo say be ye juma san kronfo na I promise you ye be two almost one time.
Okay inti someone is also saying here say the only way is taking out the bad nuts from the Okada business. Should unite and suck away the thieves among them. Inti so wait a minute to win. Is there unity among the various stations of Okada?
Oh yes.
Inti enyasa competition bia o monte. Maybe aboso kan for new kaishi for
no. Eno dey ye nisa. Eno dey ye Okada rider ni come and you can send conformal information on Okada riders. Or feminists Susana police wa say mama the next 10 minutes Okada rider bia na oba be fa. Chale omu no I so sorry. So eno dey rider be no one more cancel any young competition.
Okay, but that's it. So it's a lot. This conversation is a lot, and please keep your comments coming in. I see that a lot of people have grievances against the Okada riders, but we have to take a quick break. When we return, we'll be speaking with the planning officer of the National Road Safety Authority here. He'll be joining us, and then the phone lines are likely to be open, so I will definitely inform you so that you can call and ask your questions, and please keep your questions very tactful and decorous. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And yes, as I said, we have Mr. Felix Owusu, the planning manager of the National Road Safety Authority here in the Greater Accra region, joining us in the conversation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's been a while, but we're glad to have you back.
Yeah,
I hope you are well.
Yeah, I'm doing very well by the grace of God and your prayers.
Glad to hear that. So, I'm here. You know him, I think, yes. So we are discussing Okada legalization on even basically everything about Okada from an Okada rider. He's a PR. I mean, I don't need to introduce. But we have a question here. This one for you. So, Ose, kindly ask him, are they ready to comply with the traffic lights? Because the police are ready for them. This is from Andrew Aqua in Sunyane. Into the police for are you also ready to obey their laws and things like that?
I don't know, I can't say. You adibi wo ho no mo na uyu Okada rider. Ya meetings, ya ni ho adi won komo, ya videos. What you say? Mpinifo no ne police fo atena ma nyina ya je to mu say, udu traffic light ejina. Na udu traffic light no why wadwum say, ni traffic light ne be see wo no mo. Cars na egu wechi ni nyina no. Sebi o omu nim nyansa na wo kwa na wo nim nyansa na wo kwa na opentem. Na wo cross rider. Me say police in chill. Me say police in chill. But so wo gina traffic light. Na say police ni bi e dey mrashe in the pocket no be two key ewo cars na nim emreko traffic na so ontimi mpushi car moto no mfiri kwan na cars be bon ho na go so no eno so no me so magina wo Okada rider na ni police ni no aka amanti asia ye adwuma wasa adwuma no.
But I say police for some, they are usually on Okada riders, like they are usually on you, and
yes, I say me taka. Nesu me ka na akwakwa say baby a mekobia no me bo police for SG.
Okay.
But you say o tumo money for no. Na what ajamu asofo. So ati police for gina yechi. Yes, police service no. Individuals. So ati say.
Basically said they want to
a drew baby no just recently a two abetwe mu ya na nkonfo be say almost Sunday the concept of Mahama to almost start operation be one day operation pocket operation okogina kwa mo person ochimoto na yanka say Mahama na was so legalize Okada na no police for asati chichimoto say you hu sad no ya na so ye kan ya dwen ma Ghana for tie ma police be take action amazania man nyina ye dey etwaye na momene no nkyere se so we rider na one faga na mra nya adwuma me ye wo leader tin meka say ye dia wo pe debi o cross ready dia etiamra.
Okay. So Mr. Felix, Mr. Owusu, now, I mean, I've had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Evans here, so it's your turn. So, what are some of the common safety risks, related with our Okada riders?
All right. So before I answer your questions, let me say a very good morning to my good brother here, Evans, yourself, and then, in fact, all our cherished viewers out there. And also, let me say a very good morning to my Acting Director General, Mr. Abraham Amaleba, and all my colleagues at the National Road Safety Authority who are doing fantastic work to ensure safety on our road. Yeah, so just as you asked, now a motor rider, there are a lot of risks associated with riding on us. Especially, let me use Ghana or in Accra or Ghana, I mean, in general. Mainly because when you look at the road user class, when we talk about road user is anybody at all that uses the road. And then we can talk of the driver, the motor rider, passengers, pedestrians. And aside the pedestrian, the motor rider is the most vulnerable. Or so aside the pedestrian who is walking on the road, the motor rider next vulnerable road user class. Mainly because as most of us, as we sit in our vehicles, now when there's a collision between a vehicle and a motorcycle, just using the layman's point of view, because the vehicle has a lot of covering, with the metal works, whoever is inside, no without any injury.
Yeah.
But of course, looking at the motorcycle, it does not have any protective, no fenders, nothing. And so when there's an impact, normally you sitting on whether the rider or the pillion rider, you are at risk of being injured. And then most of the that's happens most of the time. When there's an impact between the motorcycle and the other vehicle types, you see the riders are rather at risk of either losing their lives or getting some permanent injuries.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the risks. And then again, and in Ghana here, because like he was saying, or not like he was saying, per the law, that's the regulation 128, which prohibits the use of motorcycle for commercial, that's for passenger carrying. We can use motorcycles for commercial. That is the courier service that is allowed, but not for passenger carrying. So most people, or most drivers, let me use the word drivers, see sometimes and drivers have this perception that maybe the road is for them alone.
Especially the church drivers.
Yes, unfortunately, our roads are designed not to be other Western world where you have separate roads for even pedestrians and then even motorcycles. Here we are all using that same road. Okay, so that mixture of road users, we are all using the road. So that is the point where we are saying that if we all understand each other and know that we are all using that same road, we have to respect each other and give the right of way to whoever is on the road. And so these are some of the risks that motor riders face. So the first one I spoke about is the makeup of their motorbikes. And again, sometimes they're not with the two wheelers. They're not able to. Sometimes if you are not able to balance yourself well, you are able to be involved in a crash or.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are the rates of accidents involving motorbikes compared to the normal vehicles?
So generally, or for some time now, the trend has been that when you are looking at the crash statistics, we group them into the vehicle types, we group them into three. So we have the private vehicles, we have the commercial vehicles, and the motorcycles. So the motorcycles even included the two-wheelers and the three.
There are three-wheelers?
That is the tricycle, either the rickshaw,
the tricycle,
or the Mahama Kandu or Keke.
Okay.
So those are the tricycles or the three-wheelers. Okay, and so looking at most of the time, you'd realize that when it comes to something at the National Road Safety we call CIDs, that's crashes and deaths.
Yeah.
So you'd see that in most cases, either commercial vehicles or private vehicles will be leading in terms of crashes. Okay, but when it comes to injuries, motorcycle-related injuries are more than, and that has been the trend. Motorcycle-related injuries are sometimes more than that of the private and commercial. And then when it comes to fatalities, that has always been the trend. Motorcycle-related deaths are more than private vehicles and the commercial vehicles. So that has always been the trend.
Okay.
But for some number of years, let's say 2021 to 2024, we saw a steady decrease in the numbers, even though they were still high. The numbers were still coming down until 2024, where it shoots up again. And again, in this 2025, using the two months, that's January and February, we've also seen some increases in some of the indicators. That is even nationwide, talking about the crashes, the injuries, and then those who are dying out of these crashes. But fortunately for us in Greater Accra, at least we have also seen some decrease in some of these indicators that we're looking, especially fatalities, which we saw some about 30% reduction in the fatalities as compared to the same period in 2024.
Okay. So, what measures can be put in place to ensure safety for the riders?
Okay, so as I was already mentioned, using the statistics as the baseline, Now, there has been a discussion of legalizing the operations of these Okada riders. As you all know, I mean, even at the national authority, knowing the contributions of this vehicle class to our national statistics, so even from somewhere last year or even before last year, we always, when we are doing any road safety engagement with the motor or road users, we always engage them as well.
Okay.
Yeah, even though whatever they were doing or their operations were against the law, or the law didn't permit the use of motorcycles for passenger carrying, we saw them as motor riders or motor users, and so they were also part of the road. So whatever education we're giving out to road users, we never dated them, so we always include them in. So that was one of the areas through which or one of the measures National Road Safety Authority uses to ensure we reduce our crashes. And again, now with the introduction of this legalization of this Okada by the current administration, that is the government, now it is now prudent on us to come up with some measures that would also help ensure the safety of these riders, and that would in a way help also reduce the national statistics so that it doesn't also become a problem for all of us. So, I mean, as I speak, I mean, I know there are measures or there are steps still being put in place to ensure when these things are done. And first of all, it will even start with the amendments of the existing law. Yeah, that is to make some amendment to the existing law. That's the Regulation 8, which makes the usage of motorcycles for commercial as passenger carrying illegal. So it will start with that one when the law has been amended to include or to now allow them to use motorcycles for passenger carrying. But of course, that also comes with a lot of responsibilities on them as well.
Okay, so let's go into the legalization. So the government had previously banned Okada operations under the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180, citing safety concerns. But now parties and stakeholders have also proposed legalizing it. So in countries that, you know, cycle riding has been legalized, what safety regulations can we adopt from these countries to also employ here?
Yeah, so, you know, before this conversation even started, if you remember a few months back, my Director General and then also the CEO of DVLA and some other stakeholders, including even the executives of the Okada Riders Association, went to Rwanda to even study their system there. And so, I mean, it is based on some of the findings, observations that they had or they got from those places. Now, I mean, I know there's a committee put in place that transports, and that has some key players, from the various stakeholders, including members or some executives from the Riders Association as well. And so I believe when they finish with their work, I'm sure they'll come up with a roadmap which will guide the operations of these motor riders, and I believe it will go a long way to help the situation.
Okay, so the phone lines have been open. Please do well to call and ask all your pressing questions. So a lot of the questions I'm getting here are, via text, are mostly about the behavior of some of these riders. So what can your authority also do to check these people's behaviors? Because you can only train them for so long and they can still decide to flout these trainings and things. So what can your authority do about it?
Yeah, so one of the areas is, I think he even mentioned it in submission, and that just as we are now, the National Road Safety Authority is regulating the road transport sector, that is those who are operating, let me use whether the GPRTU, the Pro Tour, and then the other companies. It's the same way. Now we are saying that we are not going to allow individual riders just to be operating without belonging to an association or a union. And then those unions would also have executives. Okay. And so even it places that self-responsibility on the executives to check their members. Okay, so there will be a system in place to make sure that every rider, of course, before you can even become or before you are accepted to ride as or to become an Okada rider.
So we have a caller on the line, so we'll come back to that. Hello, Felix. Good morning. Hello. Hello, Felix.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show. What are your submissions or your questions, please?
Hello, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you too. Thank you so much for calling. Hello?
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to contribute.
Could you please turn down the volume of your set, please?
Sure. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to contribute to the program.
Thank you for calling.
I think legalizing Okada in one way or the other is a great opportunity. I mean, giving employment to most of the youth. But there are some few challenges that I think majority of the Okada riders, I mean, when you come to my area, majority of the Okada riders do not really go to school. You understand? There was a time I was going home. And right when I was marching to my house, and the Okada rider came from the direct opposite in my lane and crushed into my car. So I think there is a need for a lot of education. There is a need for a lot of education given to the Okada riders, and they should insist that they get some form of basic education on the need for road traffic regulations. Because you have one Okada driver, a rider passing away, you understand? So if they want to legalize Okada, I mean, whether they legalize it or not, it is already going on. So there is a need for them to ensure that they obey the road traffic regulations. You understand? I witnessed an accident last time at La Paz, and it was so devastating because the traffic light was red. But this Okada rider, the traffic light on the highway at La Paz was red, and the traffic for coming from Abecan during the highway had green. You understand? This Okada driver was using the main road, and he crossed the red light, running into one car that was coming from La Paz. So please, legalizing it is not much of a problem, but we should ensure that the riders and those who use the Okada are well protected. You understand? To reduce the road challenges that we experience on our roads. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very, very much for your contribution. So it goes back down to control. Yes, quality control, the quality of the riders you have. And I mean, you see, I asked you that why don't they have something like this so that we can tell the difference and then even be able to patronize their services?
Yeah, so as I was saying, so those are, like I said, those are the measures we are going to put in place, because as I was saying, now before you can be licensed or registered as an Okada rider, you have to go through certain processes. And one of them is, the first one is, I said, belonging to an association or a union.
Okay, so somebody says, I just have my motorbike, I use it to cruise.
So you see, let's get a different. We have, so that is we have the courier services and then Okada. So Okada is you wanting to use your motorbike for passenger carrying.
Okay.
Okay, so and that's what we are saying, that before, if you want to, once you want to go into that, it means you have to belong to a union or an association which should be registered or known by the National Road Safety Authority. And every member under each of the associations also have their information with the association, and which of course the National Road Safety Authority would also have that. Now, so before...
We have a caller on the line. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I'm really enjoying your program.
Thank you.
But I feel, yes, it's a source of employment for most of the youth because most of them don't really have a job. But the problem there is that the government needs to do enough orientation because most of these Okada riders, if you see where they station themselves, you see them smoking, really taking drugs, and so on. And most of them don't even have helmets. I don't know what the person in charge of the Okada is saying because most of them don't even have helmets. They don't have any safety gear. And most of them use one Okada for 3 persons in a day. This person will say, well, let me walk for some time and then I will give you back. And if you need to walk for some time, you have to be fast and you don't take interest in it. And you see, they say don't drink before you drive. And that's why we have less accidents with the car. But with the Okada, most of them don't think about those things. They just move. You're on drugs. You don't know what you are doing. So I don't know. They need to do more about it. It's not about arresting them, but we need to do more orientation and education. It's not about going to school. A lot of drivers didn't go to school, but they are doing well.
Yeah.
So it's not about going to school, but you need to orient them on the safety rules. That's the most important thing. But they don't keep to all those rules. They felt they can do anything, and most of them are underage. You see some 15, 14 years, even 12 years, riding on a car without any. So we need to work on those things before legalizing it. Thank you.
Okay, so yes,
So
you
before all these things will be, I think most of these things will be checked.
Yeah.
If we are saying that we should be registered with an association. Like I said, the leaders, once they are there, there are some criteria they will look out for, and which will include the age limits, and those who are even qualified to ride or to become an Okada rider. And so that will be for the association, and then the authorities. So the National Road Safety Authority, DVLA, even the police and other stakeholders would also have a role to play, so they will be doing the training and an issuing of the riders' licenses and those things like I said saying this. So I don't want to preempt the results of that. But the National Road Safety Authority will also continue to give that education, periodic education to these riders. And again, so now the onus will also lie on the executives to make sure whoever is registered with them as a member of their association, you do not flout the road traffic regulations. Because when you do that, it means it will go against you, as we are doing with the transport operators. Because if you're a member, and again, they are going to be identified. And so those are the discussions that is ongoing. And so it's not even going to be. So they are going to have reflective jackets, and which will be different from associations, so that when we see you can be easily identified. Or let's say you are coming from Agbogbleshi, or you are coming from SEC, or you are coming from wherever. So those are the discussions, like I said, and that are being put in place. So once those things are, we are done with those discussions and engagement, I'm sure it will come out, and then the public will get to understand it very well.
Yeah. So, Mr. Waja, our last caller talked about how some of these riders also smoke, substances and things like that. association, how will you be able to check? Because when it comes to the driving, there were all these sorts of education about don't drink and drive, don't drive tired, don't sleep, if you are tired, park, don't overtake, those things. So does the association do something like that for your riders too?
Yes, yeah. Now, senior, you say, and I mean, they can kind and say, maybe a chip na I said, na ye opportunities no in free abimo authorities and it is road safety ne other distance. Now, the CIA training na start no ye wo near be bra ye betchrew. I'm a one who responsibilities about you as a Okada rider.
Okay.
So I can say, and to say, oh, sorry, Anapa. And you've been a besha was a konokonum and san or the riding motor. Like by the training now, oh yeah, then we'll fair moon. 1 hour monum and Sunday Eddie driving.
Okay.
And I did right
now. Call, but we'll come back to that. Hello, Sefas from Accra. Good morning.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. Good morning. Could you please turn down the volume of your set?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you. Thank you so much.
Let me give you all the tap on the shoulder for a wonderful and most educative program you're having for us this morning.
Thank you.
However, I have a few concerns. The fact that, yes, if you go to certain aspect of our country, without Okada, movement becomes a difficulty. But then let's come to Central City of Accra, and what I want you to find out is, if you go to Tamale, for instance, you realize that the riders ride in lane. When there's traffic lights is red, they will stop. You don't ride in the blue or the median of the roads. In Accra here, you see the Okada riders riding in the middle, where you have a demarcation, all the fringes of the road. Sometimes you are parked and they come around and scratching the side of your car and what have you. What measures are we putting in place to ensure sanity on our roads?
So this question goes to both of you. So maybe the PRO will take it up first.
So what you say? Me can say, obi riding motor reckless. A lack of knowledge. Near mana wouldn't ni mono. And a man the eden or operate sir. This a young conforno, young conforno. Muya yet it's too muyi Emma they understand the word of their job or their responsibility on the road. All those things, every pass. So what the American say, any idea about continue say Okada ride. I don't think anybody will be intentional to go and scratch somebody's car and thinking that you want to escape. And if you couldn't, so what I say, but it's a lack of knowledge. One, the man was saying Okada riders used to take drugs, smoke weed, and all that. I to say to Okada riders from that, Okada riders are not smokers.
Okay.
Okada riders are not smokers because you can never, let me say, working at Accra Center or Doko traffic light and then no, you will see just a near police station here and then Okada park a motor park and smoke. No. We have those that are doing that, and maybe the person is not even Okada rider, he have his own motorbike. Let me say the Langat, those that are riding motorbike at the site and doing that unnecessary things. And underage is very big program for other association because somebody will see 14 years boy, 15 years are riding a motorbike is not best. So we admit that and we are going to work with road safety, see outcome of that issues.
So what do you also have to say on ensuring sanity on our roads?
Yeah, so of course, first of all, once we are going to legalize the operations of these riders, of course there will be some trainings and so the underage thing, I don't even see it coming yet because you cannot ride or you cannot be a member of an association if you don't even have a license, which makes you qualify to ride. Okay, and so those I think now those things will be, most of these things will be eliminated. So we will not even have minors coming in, because if you should accept a minor in your association, and the authority should find out. Of course, we can impose any sanctions on, which includes suspension of your operations. And so I don't think the associations will be willing to risk that. That's why I'm saying we place a lot of responsibility
on them,
the association leaders themselves to ensure that their members are operating within what is agreed.
Okay. And we have Koko Jewel on the line. Hello. Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. My question goes to the Okada man.
Okay.
I want to find out what measures are they putting in place, because from a personal experience, especially as it has to do with accident cases, and it involves Okada. Immediately they rush you to the hospital. First thing is that they will cut your leg off. Because most of the hospitals, when you go there, the accident cases happen like that. They don't value the Okada people, especially accidents. So what measures are they putting in place to prevent most of these things? Because there are a lot of cases whereby people have lost their leg. Meanwhile, it could have been prevented. But for the fact that it's an Okada accident, quickly they have to chop off the person. So I want to know what measures are they putting in place to prevent such cases.
All right. Thank you so much.
I think I would want to respond quickly to Evans earlier said. Now let's get this word straight. It's not easy. There are a lot of motor riders out there, and not all of them are Okada riders. Okay, there are a lot of motor riders. Some are using it for their private. They ride to work. It's their private motorbike. They are not using it for any commercial, purposes, whether for courier or for passenger carrying. And so let's get. So there are a lot of categories of motor riders. So not every rider you see on our road is an Okada rider. Okay. Now, the perception that once you were involved in a crash and it involves a motorbike and you get to the hospital, as soon as they see you, they amputate your leg. That assertion may not be true, because we've had some discussion with some doctors at the Rage and even Colleague. So they don't just amputate your leg.
But it seems to be some sort of stigma around.
That's the perception. But from what the doctors tell us, now when the cases can be assessed, so based on assessment, then they take the right or the appropriate step, and which sometimes would have to be the amputation of your leg. So it doesn't mean as soon as you come and it involves a motorcycle crash, then they have to amputate your leg. That is not true.
Okay, so since today the calls, we have another caller on the line, but we will definitely have you also answer that question. Yes. Hello, your name and where you're calling from, please. Hello. Hello. Okay, it seems we've lost the caller. So yes, take us away.
It's a challenge, and the one thing is we are not professionals than the doctors. Okay, so that decision will come from a doctor. And because okay, we make sure the one 9 okay. And the Okada rider or anybody who involved in that accident have a family member. Doctor Nene Ubeka San Sana, Ujipini na wecha. And it's say so far as we Okada rider unya accident. Nama Bibrinanya accident or mum per se, Umbeko hospital. Mimi ajina Okada for Nema can say Minjindi say the doctors be because your doctors are omunuanu ye Okada. Your doctors are Okada for your delivery ma wo. Your doctors are ye ne omunetifi. So me nyama adwum so doctor bi betimi aye so envy say unya timoto so nkwa de o kotodwe hu why kakra no diseases like channel. I don't support that.
So we have is it Ishmael or Mahmoud? Mahmoud on the line, sorry. Good morning. Thank you for calling Koko Digest Morning Show. Yes, could you please turn down the volume of your sets first?
My response to those two gentlemen, I like that if Okada
opportunity for the youth as an occupation.
Could you take your question again, please? And please turn the volume of your set.
As an occupation.
We still can't hear you. Can you please turn down the volume of your set, please?
It's Okada and option.
Okay.
Youth as an occupation. Because, you know, yeah.
So is it an option for the youth as an occupation? Is that what you're asking, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Because for me, I don't understand that right now 99% of the youth are going into Okada again. Meanwhile, we have our ministers, they're always trying to promote education. You know, for me, I have problem with everyone because it's right into politics, so nobody is ready to talk about the truth. You know, this drug thing has been an option for them that they are doing at work. And the same way that it happened that for them to start doing Okada. It's through drugs that most of them go into Okada. It's through the lanyard and all stuff that makes them go into Okada. I've been such like I've been told the story before. You know, I've been an Okada rider. I used to smoke, you know, I use my experience to teach the children that are coming. And I realize that most of the, like, we are all based on politics, so that it's not ready to be said, you know. And when you go about saying the truth, right now I've called you and I'm saying the truth. Someone will come to you and send you some envelope for you to be right about. Don't come and look for me and and this is a country that we want development. So what are we trying to promote? Are we trying to promote drugs, Okada? And meanwhile, a country grows with engineers, and stuff that will make the country grow. So what are we doing? Africa by now, we are still thinking about roads to do our roads well. We are still thinking about employment. We are still education. We are still thinking to have one vision.
All right. Thank you so much for your question. Yes, Mr. Waja.
Obisa question we say Okada ye option ema the youth ana. Somehow no yes. Okada ye option ema youth than say ombekwa Libya na yakwo desert so. Okada ye option ema the youth than say ye bekwa Galamsey na ya say Ghana nsu. Okada ye option ema the youth than ye be jobless na yatena fi na komade na wasi watade ahata na yayi akoton. Okada option ema the youth than say nipa ne be wie school na odi ne burden ebesa beto no maame ne papa so enti so ono atimia bie na no aka say oka riders youth over 99% and 90% of youth no are focus on Okada business because the person earn the daily bread from there.
Yeah.
And ono awokasa no e family members be nipa 10 and 20 no ono kwant me take responsibilities about them.
Yeah.
And so almost so this is so okay. Say na be kwade yenye Okada mfa fidi ye ho there is nothing wrong.
Okay.
And Okada is an option.
Okay.
So if government ni ready so be ma ye adwuma foforo bia dia.
We have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Good morning. My name is Michael from Spintex.
Okay. Please lower the set first. Could you please tell?
It's one of the options, but we need to regularize everything. You see, you have to regularize everything to make things look attractive for us, like the farming. I wish to do farming, but I don't know where I'll go.
Okay, before you proceed, hello, Mike. Hello, Michael. Mike, yeah, please turn down the volume of your set or move away from your set. We're getting feedback.
I'm off from the set. I'm not near it. Okay. I'm off.
All right.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, Okada is one of the options. Okada is just like driving a truck or driving a African Uber. It is one of the options. Yes. But the best is the regulation. The behavior of the Okada people is we teaching them. If we neglect other people as they are nobody, we want to sit down on somebody. Any kind of person is talking to you, will be harsh on you.
Yeah.
But if you give the other people respect, you also put a kind of respect on their kind of what we do. But if we disrespect them, anytime they're angry, so they also come back with anger.
Yeah.
So Okada is good, but they should regulate it well.
Okay.
And then secondly, it's about farming. If our leaders are not teaching us anything every day, politics, this and that. But you could tell us, if you want to do farming, come to this area, come for 2 acres, come for 10 acres. This is what we can do. The youth, we are ready to work, but we are not getting the opportunity.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are talking to wrong people. Assuming on your platform now, after this program, then you could give a test that anybody want to do farming, there's a big land at this particular area. If you want this kind of, you just come. But they tell you come and take money. A person taking money don't know what he's doing with the money. They'll just squander the money.
Yeah.
So there are leaders who put something. Imagine if I could be a leader of Ghana today. The police tells people, what do? You just go this and go. Put a tag on their leg, some kind of yes, you can't go. If you run a
Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. So, it seems the main problem is the regulations and control. And if already Okada has that name based on the behaviors of certain people, how will legalization come and mitigate this issue?
All right, so as we already established in the past, because in the past the Okada business was seen as an illegal activity. Most of the institutions were not, let's say, ready to associate themselves with their operations, and because of that, they were doing anything they want, and which includes sometimes leading some of them. And this is an allegation because I do not have facts to back, but the use of just drugs by say Okada riders, is motor riders.
Okay.
That is the perception that we all have, and so in fact, the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, they've started this a campaign which they are doing against drug abuse.
Okay.
With him red. Or yes, so that is so the Honourable Minister. We're even with them on Tuesday on YFM, and then we moved to the Bukom Park to sensitize the youth about the drug abuse thing. And so the whole idea of legalizing this operations of the is to make sure now is lucrative enough for people who engage in such activities, and then most importantly, of course, it has some economic benefits to the riders and then their dependent families, and then also reduces the burden even on the country. Okay, and so mine, as where I sit as a road safety authority, to make sure that we are putting in measures to ensure the operations do not come and add up to the existing problem that we have on our road. That is to also make sure they do their work according to, or they obey all the road traffic rules and regulations on our roads. Okay, by giving them the necessary education and then also enforcing some policies that we are all going to agree to go by. And so at the National Road Safety Authority, we are committed to make sure this is a government policy, and as a government institution, our work is to make sure the government succeeds and that everyone in this country is also safe, by the operations of this Okada.
Okay.
Riders.
So what about you? What do you have to say to that? If legalization comes, how will it check this criminal behavior?
You see, I can say training.
Training. Okay.
Training. 90% of issues we need training. Unim se we boni ne woya unim se we boni so what you say ye training so o man no gi etum say the road safety na ye ni o mo ye training na de be a month mu ya chimia training riders ni pa be 1,000. Me sure say this kind of programs will still continue.
There are about into training. Does it also involve road signs? Because lifestyle segment, yes, yeah, road signs and into more church.
Training now. 15th, 16th, no. Road safety for bus here, about the road sign, DVL bus here. Man now or or sponsor for that, no. I say one hour woman need riders license, no. Or by year no so bet me I more DVL I issue 100 license for 100 people. So I just here. 2, when I mobile pass it through on that training, 3 days training, no, the school is going to give them certificate. I just say, or more pass it through on this. Road safety way Jumaye, MIEN riders. Yes, you way Jumaye, Emma road safety. Send ye beya, or mine, no, ye challenges, no, a trobecha. The legalization of Okada and the registration of Okada no, is coming to solve the problem, not the new issues.
Okay. So one last question here, please, Madam. Can you ask the Okada rider? Most of the Okada riders ride without mirrors. They remove the mirrors off. What are they doing about that? Another person is asking, are they mirrors?
It's against the law
to remove the mirrors, right?
Yes, because like Bema Camp, 37 military hospital. If your motorbike don't have a rider's mirror, you can't go. So I say it's against the law. It's lack of knowledge. One, maybe riding motor with a mirror, and all riding motor with that mirror is very easier for you to get accident, because when you want to change your lane, you turn back and then you can lose the focus. So it's a lack of knowledge. When we are taking them through all this process, then they will go to know the benefit of the rider's mirror. So it's against the best we know.
Okay, so all too soon our time is up, but this conversation there's so much more to learn, so I'm sure we will have a part 2. I will speak with my producer. And so as we wrap up, I'd like to take your closing remarks. I had a number of questions, but I think our viewers had more questions, so we'll do part 2. So yes, in just 30 seconds each, if you can each just tell our viewers something as we wrap up.
My main question is now, Ghana for nyina say they should wait for betterment of Okada and omonye GD ewo aban no mu na ye fa ye support nkoma aban say ne be ya Okada issues no ebe ma aban na jimi achieving a dream na protect Ghana for nyina ma yanya ya.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Uzu.
All right, so for me, what I want to say is I want to urge all road users to understand that the road is not only for drivers, but it's for all categories of road users, and so we should all respect each other when we are on the roads. But then this will be part of the training that we are going to give to the riders. Personally, sometimes there's this observation I have made several times, but normally when the traffic or when it's red, you see all the motor riders coming ahead of the cars, and mostly they park inside the pedestrian walkway or crosswalk, and I keep saying that is where pedestrians are supposed to cross the road from, and so it is always good. Riders will also stay behind the vehicles, or wherever you are, you stay behind, and traffic is green, then you also join the traffic and then move. Okay. And I believe when we do all these things, it's because I've seen instances where the motorcycles are in front of the cars, and when the light is green too, and sometimes they try to start their motorbike, it's not starting, and you see that some of the cars are also running into the motorcycle, which can also lead to some of the crashes we record at various intersections. So, and I also want to appeal to all Ghanaians that we should all rally our support behind this legalization of the Okada, so that it becomes a success.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you all for being with us. We'll see you next Tuesday. Goodbye.
unclogged TV. Beyond the policy.